Okay. Let's just get this up on Tumblr. Okay, that's up on Tumblr, and we'll direct you to go read the blog. And also watch so you can keep an eye on that there chat.
That's what I'm here for.
You are, as I say, chat monkey.
I'm more like your social secretary.
You are, as I say, social secretary monkey. Okay, so presumably Solar will be showing up soon, and I think we have some new worlds we can go to. We can go to Disney Town, Olympus Coliseum, Deep Space, where the space people live, and I think that's it, actually. Just those
in my opinion, the thing that would improve Kingdom Hearts the most would be the inclusion of Warner Brothers characters.
I mean, sure, that Disney would never go for that. Disney hates Warner Brothers and all the people who watch Warner Brothers.
I know. Can you imagine how much funnier this entire game would be if Bugs Bunny was just being sarcastic at everybody?
It would be way funnier.
So funny.
Okay, Disney Town and Olympus Coliseum are both combat level 5, so which one should we go to first?
Oh god. I tried playing 358 over 2 days and I spent so much time in that fucking Coliseum.
Yes. I think Olympus Coliseum actually has a fairly difficult battle in it, so we're going to go to Disney Town.
Oh, thank God.
We're going to have to go to Olympus Coliseum sometime today.
Well, hopefully I'll be plastered by then.
I know, I don't think they talk about darkness much in Disney Town. It's mostly racing it's mostly racing mini games, I forgot.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. There's one thing he sucks at more than platformers, action games, shooters, and, well, most games, it's racers.
That is well harsh. I'm great at some platformers.
Hey, thanks for piping up back there. I mean it. The name's Tara.
It's nice to meet you, Tara. What are you, nuts, running out onto the course like that? Yeah, that's against the rules. I'm sure you had your reasons, but I can't say that I approve either.
Well, rules don't apply when you're
Nice to meet you, Tara. Why do you have a girl's name?
You sound just like me. Look, it's Captain Dark.
Disguised in shadows, the rogue racer reigns.
Well, that kind of reminds me of Artemis Fowl, where that's actively brought up, and you're kind of sitting there going, did you not know, Ian? Did you not know? Or did you just not care? Because I could go with either.
Miss a new track record. Hold on. How's come I don't know you? Somebody bringing in a ringer?
Why did you turn into a cut-price DC supervillain? Why did the traffic cones have Mickey's head on them?
In the first case, because this world is a homage to the Speed Racer series.
But I need to defeat the Unversed. Tell me what I've got to do.
Are you talking about all those carts that look like scary, ugly monsters? Well, we've only ever seen monsters on the track.
I forgot that rogue racer's name is Captain Dark. Take a drink. Just a small one.
And while you're at it, take that Captain Dark down a notch or two. He's always breaking the rules and causing trouble.
I have to become a racer?
Oh.
Now I'm sure I don't have to tell you.
I know. I'll play by the rules.
Why are you doing that? Oh, that's why you're doing that.
Just come talk to me whenever you're ready. I'll get you signed up and everything.
I mute my computer because since I took my headphones out, it's like, I'll use the TV instead.
That is well harsh. God, Terra's so pretty. It's a shame he's such a screw up.
He is such a screw up. He could have been all Mr. Steal Your Girl at the Handsome Prince from Cinderella, but nope, he had to be a screw up.
Thunder. Take that. Fire. Want some?
See, even though I like the Unversed design, like from a storytelling perspective, you could replace them with Heartless and not change the game at all. I don't know why they're in this game.
Actually, some of their designs look like Heartless anyway.
Yeah,
Those little hot dudes.
I suspect it's because there was probably like a throwaway line in Kingdom Hearts 1 about people not knowing about the Heartless, so they have to come up with the Unversed for a prequel, which are essentially Diet Heartless.
Well, why not just have like the Heartless have like mutated at some point, so people are like, they're these monsters, and then suddenly like, oh shit, they are Heartless.
Yeah.
I've put up with worse for, let's put it that way.
Hey, Goofy's... No, you're not Goofy's dad, you're a cow. Maybe later. I don't want to play football. Let's put it that way. I do want to buy Zanketsuken, and I need more money for that.
You know, despite this being based mostly on Western animation, the story is still paced incredibly slowly. It's your Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series reference for the evening there. There'll be many others.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series references will continue until morale improves.
It's a Kingdom Hearts game though, so the morale's never going to improve. My mum put this jar, I don't remember what it had in it, into the dishwasher when it had one of those disposable labels on it, and all she's managed to do is cook the label onto the glass.
Oh good. Now everything's going to be ladle flavoured.
See if I can get it off before I try and make that jam. Ah, hey Chloe! I was worried you weren't going to show up.
Hi Chloe, you're barely late at all. All you missed was a mysterious go-kart racer showing up in this racing minigame world. We've actually not done any racing mini games yet, but we will. They're coming. It's going to be LA Noire all over again.
Doug is... Yeah, you skipped all of the driving sequences you could. Doug is drinking his whiskey out of a coffee mug, whereas I'm drinking coffee whiskey. I will write that in the chat so you all know how it's spelled.
Also interesting, you're drinking fancy whiskey while I'm drinking Bell's. The cheapest whiskey around.
I'm running out of my coffee whiskey, so I've got my Bullet Rye small batch Frontier whiskey, straight 95% rye mash, which is pretty cheap. Well, for the kind of whiskey I drink anyway. And really nice. Yes, this is Nika coffee whiskey. Single malt, I think. Don't have the bottle up here with me. Means whiskey, which is a descendant of Scottish whiskey, which is why it's spelt with a Y instead of an EY, unlike American whiskey, which is pretending that it's Irish.
You know, we came underground. I have no idea why we're here. Do we even need to be here? Did I come down here for no reason?
Probably.
Yeah, because I think we're meant to be going to a racetrack to race people.
But how weird it is watching somebody else do combat where you can hear all the button motions and all the music is in the background is da 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 da.
Okay, that's some fruit scattering minigame.
I swear, Kingdom Hearts are some of the worst minigames.
I think later on when we're playing Venster's story, we have to do a mandatory ice cream minigame. It's horrible. Hang on, I thought it would tell me what my objective is.
So, is there any news on that journalist?
Oh yes, a journalist. I'm also interested in this.
God, I hope she's okay.
Want some? Want some? Freeze! Say goodbye!
Yeah, her. I mean, I'd look it up, but it's Danish news and I'm a monoglot, so... You're a Dane, so it makes more sense to ask you. You need any British news, you just ask. Right. Oddly, now that I've said that, I'm really wondering what's going on in EastEnders.
Ah yes,
Nothing
the
good,
heart of
probably.
British news.
The weird British news. Soap's so weird here.
Okay, I think we have to beat Captain Dark. Doesn't count if I say it.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, Captain Dark, who is Pete, but he's not even wearing a mask.
Isn't he? I thought he was. It's just
No.
still really obvious that it's him.
No, look, he doesn't have a mask on at all.
Well, I can't see him yet. This is just giving me a Diddy Kong Racing style introductory thing. Oh yeah, you're right. He's not. He's just got like an arrow stuck to his head. That is how races work. Information box.
Alright,
not even wearing a helmet. He's the worst Kamen Rider.
He is the worst Kamen Rider.
And you're gonna lose the race. Also, I hate dash rings. I'm so sick of dash rings.
What could possibly make you think that I, Speed Racer, will finish last? Oh, hey, that's the finish.
You
Oh, no,
seem to have
no,
run
it's
into about 4 walls
it's got to be more than
and
that.
2 tornadoes. Oh, no, just the one. You just about missed the other one. I can't even see the other racers. Oh my god, they're like a third of the track ahead of you. You are not going to be able to catch up. Especially with how crap you are at turning. Oh my god. Right, you need to brake as you start to turn corners, otherwise you'll run straight into walls. And this is rich coming from me. I know an arcade game I played once where it, you were supposed to like drive straight ahead, turn around an island, and then drive back. I just drove straight over the top of the island, so really I'm the last person who should be. That'd be ridiculous. If this was Sonic R, they'd be running. You thinking of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing? Suck!
Some would say that
he's
you
playing on
suck.
easy, by the way. I'm not the one who decides to play this game. I'm really looking forward to you playing like the proper console ones, just so like I can start. Oh my god, you're gonna get lapped, son.
No, you are going to get that. No, I hate you.
Doesn't matter, he's lost anyway. You haven't been paying attention to a damn thing I said about braking, have you?
I'm trying to brake, but the last time I tried, I ended up going the wrong way.
Okay, what you did there is what we in the business call a handbrake turn. I can't believe they're going to make you try and go to the end, even though you've clearly lost anyway. What a bullshit track is this anyway? Why are they all still going? I mean, you're the player character and you have an unfair advantage because you can clearly take advantage of that shortcut when nobody else does. Why is it even there? Why is there a ramp and a boost ring up to it? If there's a practice thing, you really should go for it. I can't believe you lost to Huey, Louie, and Dewey.
Fuck you.
Like, slow down before you hit the turn. You don't have to stop, you just have to slow down a bit.
Okay, okay.
For some reason, this floating bike has terrible grip. Also, I love the fact that you need to beat Captain Dark and he didn't even win that race.
No, apparently we need to be first. Okay, okay, we're not doing bad this time. It's that last corner that keeps getting us.
I'm terribly sorry, my PS4 decided to put itself in sleep mode.
Come on!
Okay, that should be it right now. I can't wait to find out how badly you're doing this time. Oh, you're first! Nice! Oh, you've just been overtaken. By everybody. Maybe we should start taking a drink every single time he fucks this up.
No, that's a trip to the A&E. I finished first.
Oh good, I don't have to go to accident and emergency today.
I'm the best racer to ever live.
To be honest, I'm not surprised that guy sank his U-boat on purpose.
Oh, my cart must have sprung
Why
a
are you still
spring.
trying?
Now who's just
That race takes ages to decide that it's stopped.
all of you.
Yippee! I hope he's gone for good. Nobody's gonna vote for a weasel.
I suppose it's difficult to tell because he's got like he's a cat, so he's got sticky out cat ears. But it looks like he's trying to wear a skull cap.
Yeah.
Very popular part of our dream festival. Everyone
He's a
in town
cat.
votes for who we think is the most exemplary citizen. And since everybody knows
I wish
how much of a
Minnie would get a
troublemaker
different
he is,
expression because she looks kind of
figured wearing a
weird.
disguise was the only
She
way
looks
he'd
kind of
get any
terrifying.
No votes, no prize.
Who do I ship Mickey Mouse with?
Anyway, he doesn't care about being a good citizen.
Minnie.
Oh, I think that's very sad.
I don't share him with anyone because he is a mouse.
How much we all look
Yeah,
out
but
for
Minnie's the only other mouse. Anybody else would be functionally bestiality. But Goofy's like little love interest in a little immediate House of Mouse gang is a cow, so God knows.
Well, I got something out of it too. I learned that you don't always have to bend the rules to reach your goals. All this time, I've been staring into the darkness. But that doesn't mean I have to.
No,
jump
actually,
in.
I lied. Daisy the duck.
Oh shit, he said darkness. Take a sip.
Fuck.
Take a fucking sip, babes. But only a sip, because honestly, if we take a gulp every time someone says darkness, we will die.
I love how they're like darkness and then turns up to a bright blue sky with fluffy cumulus clouds in it. I know Daisy because she has more of an obvious personality. No, I haven't drunk enough.
Stay back.
You're still super strong, Hercules. What the fuck? So, how do we think Terra's going to hit on this Disney character?
Well, I think he's already started with his whole rescuing Hercules for Don in Distress act.
You know, that's fine. I can totally see Meg going for a three-way.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, if Terra ever really does come back, like in Kingdom Hearts 3, it's just going to be like 6 Disney princesses and Meg just going, "Hey, he's mine!" And then their princess going, and then them going, ours? I mean ours.
Thunder! Fire!
Poor the prince from Cinderella, he didn't deserve this.
I thought it's been alright. But to be honest, I haven't really done much. The biggest part of my day today was like watching the most recent episode of Kamen Rider X-Aid, which involved a bunch of doctors turning into video game characters so that they could beat up a businessman who had also turned into a video game character.
You okay?
You're making it sound like that's just this episode when that's the entire overarching plot.
Thanks.
Yes.
Guess they were too much for me.
I've just been working on my Leo the Inquisitor
It really handled
teases the crap out of Cullen
Are you here to
Rutherford
hear
fic.
games?
What games?
The games. To see who's strongest. One day, I'm
You
gonna
know,
win
training
them all
hard is
and
not really your
become a
problem,
crucial-
Hercules. It's just, you know, having the vaguest idea of how to fight. Like, if you'd stood your ground, that thing wouldn't have been able to knock you over.
Oh, gotta go. The Coliseum's just up ahead. I hope I get to see you fight there sometime.
A competition. I should find out how strong I really am.
I admit, like, Terra's motivation for doing everything is so, like, vague and context specific. Like, he goes somewhere and someone says something, and then he's just like, I should make this my goal for now, for some reason.
What is he, like, what is his plan? Isn't he looking for, Spock?
Yeah, he's looking for Xehanort.
Another.
Hey, James Woods.
Capelon disasters around here. All I need is one measly war.
James Woods
tough
lives
enough
for
to
this
give
character.
a jolt of his own
James
medicine.
Woods loves playing Hades.
You know when James Woods dies, they're going to put a coin on each of his eyes just in case.
This is it.
How sad is this?
So he can get across the river Styx and Hades can be like, excellent, great fan of your work.
All that power going to waste.
Who are you?
Name is Hades, Lord of the Dead, God of the Underworld, yada yada, how you doing? Hey, let me guess. You're trying to put the kibosh on the darkness inside you. Am I right? Of course I'm right. Well, anyway, bad idea.
Wait, what?
Okay, stay with me. Darkness is inside.
You know, most of the Hercules characters do translate fairly well to 3D.
Will be your best friend.
Yeah.
The exception of Phil. Really.
And refuse to face it. The darkness will run over you like a debutante at a toga
Oh, wait,
And then
darkness.
where are you? No.
Twice.
Shit.
Now me, I look at you, and I see potential.
I don't really think you're in a position to tell people to live with darkness when you're, you know, got hair on fire. Oh wait, no, that was another one.
Believe me, if anybody knows conquering, I know conquering.
Well, let's
Oh
hear
god,
it.
I'm behind!
How do I conquer the darkness?
Oh god.
Pour some more.
Easy. Sign up for the game.
Oh, is your name William?
Oh, I know. Please, Lord
Let's
Hades,
talk about
the
conquering.
game.
Oh,
But hey,
fuck.
You will be
Two more
surprised what you
steps.
can learn in the heat of battle.
As far as the
Be right there to guide
real
you.
main character
Step
goes,
out of the way.
oh god, risky.
Call an expert.
As far as the real main character goes, Glowy,
Oh, just side
you could
facts.
argue that was Aqua.
Oh fuck, another one.
Basically, Aqua, Ventus, and Terra all have different stories that overlap with each other, and you have to play through them all to get the full story. But what usually happens is that Terra fucks things up somehow. Ventus has to deal with the fallout of Terra fucking up, and then Aqua fixes it.
Okay, but the one going through the real heroic struggle right now is my liver. There's also no doubt that Aqua is the favoured child of this game.
Yeah.
Every game that Tetsuya Nomura has a hand in has a favoured child.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, there's always a character he likes the most and who he kind of heaps the best stuff onto.
I'm trying to decide who that is for 7. It's either Cloud or Aerith, but I'm really not sure which one.
Cloud, I'd say.
I'm still, like, I'm never gonna get over the fact that they should have just called her Aerith. The fuck? Then she would have been, you could have just shoved her in here. Zack being in the Coliseum would make sense. Because Aerith is a Greek god. Greek goddess of strife. It was perfect! But no, let's name her after dirt. Not even like romanticized dirt, just dirt. Santetsuken, isn't that something that Squall gets?
It's the it's the traditional move of Odin.
Kind of earthy, but all right. Now,
in Final Fantasy, not in regular Norse mythology.
what's this?
Yeah.
The Vikings got about, but they didn't get that far about.
Come on, Hades.
Too much land in the way.
Easy peasy. I sense that you're
It's kind of earthy.
all warm and
Nice.
fuzzy with that darkness inside you. It's sweet, really. And hey, by the time you win the final match here, you'll have figured out how to conquer it for good. And don't worry, anything goes wrong, I'll make it all go away. Service
No,
with
fuck.
a smile. I got it.
Shit. Hades, you're killing me here.
Yeah, literally.
Literally, you are killing me, Hades.
Why did you drink so much before you came here? Look, it's Hades' fault. Okay, one of the other things I've never really understood about the Colosseum is why is it full of whatever the monster of the day is?
Yeah, it should be filled with, like, ancient
Dudes.
Greek competitors.
Yeah, dudes.
Yeah.
Maybe you're dudette.
And given, like, Hercules' kind of fantasy kitchen sink style, you should be fighting against famous gladiators of yore.
Ah, yes, Hercules, the film about Greek mythology that used all the Greek gods' names, but is clearly set in ancient Rome. In rare togas in ancient Greece, they wore chitons. Oh my god, mimics. Bane of my life. Well, at least it's bigger here. What, the Colosseum? Actually, that's another problem with this place. It's called the Coliseum, but it's really laid out like a really shitty Olympic stadium. Like one
Yeah.
of your... I know what I'm talking about. Like, I have one specifically in mind. The one they used in the Olympics in 2000 or 2004. The Athens Olympics. They actually started one of the events there.
Oh gosh, I didn't watch the Athens Olympics.
What year was that? 2004. I don't remember if they started the marathon in Marathon though, just because that's like really satisfying. Although, speaking of the marathon, I was looking up Steel for one of my fan fictions, the DC superhero, and I remember when I was watching the Nostalgia Critic review of the Shaq movie Steel, one of the other characters was giving Shaq a hammer and said, of course a guy called John Henry would use a hammer, and I was like, who the hell is John Henry? Well, it turns out he's an African American folk hero who went into competition against a steam thing to put pegs in the ground for railways, and he won, but he died. And it reminded me of the tale of the messenger who ran from Marathon to don't remember where it was. And that's also an immense feat of physical exertion that also ended up with people dying. So what is it about folk heroes and historical figures who do amazing physical feats and then die?
Yeah. Also, I totally didn't fail that one, because everybody was defeated before a time limit was up, because the game didn't acknowledge that. Here we are, in the first round again.
But I like the sound of this John Henry character. I feel like if I do one of those folk heroes gathered for purposes of fighting an eldritch abomination or some time-traveling villain, I should totally use him in it. Oh, that was close. Oh, these little jumpy bastards look like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh god, flying enemies. The second worst kind of enemy. The worst kind of enemy is the enemy that goes underground and you can't hit it. Basically what I'm saying is Diglett is Satan.
Diglett is Satan. Diglett would stab you and call you a darn good sport.
With what arms?
Mount a knife on his head just for a purpose.
Oh, if it's a lowland dog trio, would they even need to though? Or could they use their hair? Which is made out of steel.
Yeah, they could just use their hair.
Oh, how many rounds do you need? I think I remember thinking this when I was playing 3-5 out of 2 days. It's just, why are these sections so long? You must have spent at least like 4 minutes on this. No, probably more. Like 5 already? And if you fuck up, you have to start all over again.
Gotcha.
9? At least on the plus side, nobody's mentioning the darkness.
Yeah, we have a little bit of time to recover here.
My liver thanks you, needlessly repetitive and overlong fighting. What are these called? Clearing sequences? 10. These really are just cut-priced. Heartless. They're the Bob Hoskins to the Heartless is Ray Wilson. Don't get me wrong, I love Bob Hoskins, he's great. But Ray Wilson is like the slightly better actor.
Excellent. Finished all of these fucking rounds.
There's like 10 of them, and a third of them last like 15 seconds, and the rest of them seem to last about 30.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Also, what are those red things on the top of Moogles' heads? Are they like the Ood or something, and that's part of their brain?
I think they're just pom-poms.
Shh. My Ood theory is better, because it makes them more tragic. You know, since I've been going and writing, my Dragon Age Inquisition fanfiction, I've been on AO3 and there seems to be not a lot of love.
Josephine is great.
I love a Josephine. I might just end up pairing Leo with Josephine just to make up the shortfall. Oh god.
This is not what I had in mind. But hey, I can advise. Time for Plan Beta.
Pardon me, coming through. I'm gonna miss my match.
Hello, Plan Beta.
Ladies and gentlemen, the only Final Fantasy character in this game.
Over here. Come here.
Look, they're actually using Greek letters instead of Roman numerals.
I'll never have to fear it again.
It's like, what is your plan? What are you attempting to achieve here, Hades?
Not a lot of love for Josephine, Chloe. I'm fighting right now, I can't take a drink. Yep. Zack is the only one.
You know, I think they rather gave their hand away there by referring to him as a soldier, because why wouldn't you call him a gladiator in a Coliseum? Soldiers didn't fight in Colosseums, that's a gladiator's job. Or maybe they didn't call him a gladiator because he's not using a fucking gladius. Which still wouldn't make sense, because a gladius would be what a Roman soldier would use, and what were Greek soldiers using at this time? Probably very similar swords. They weren't using medieval broad long swords, which is clearly what that is. Like, what the hell is he even wearing? He looks like he's half cosplaying as a Roman soldier and half dressed as a goddamn, like, Napoleon-era knight. Not that those were really a thing. Wow, nice clipping to the floor camera.
Birth by Sleep, signed by Todd Howard.
This is making me want to play Kiss of Zero. Why do all of the boys in this game have ridiculously skinny ankles?
Don't know.
You know, you should probably, like, update your channel description, because haven't you already done Alpha Protocol and Final Fantasy 3 and Dishonored?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I have.
So I think I've done all of these except Valiant Hearts.
He was a pushover before.
Yeah, I tried to do Valiant Hearts and I couldn't.
What's gotten into him? It's not me. What? I'm not doing this. He's being controlled.
Man, how to make the characters look like they have dead, lifeless eyes is going to be so much harder when they start introducing the Frozen characters, because they all have dead, lifeless eyes. Like, seriously, add a tiny little shine to Zack's eyes, and that's exactly what Anna and Elsa's eyes look like.
You were just playing me. The
Oh,
darkness.
take a shot. You need to take two.
I need to... Those eyelashes are amazing. You're right, Chloe. Terra is like
Don't
50%
try it.
eyelash.
Oh my god, 3. Well, for you anyway. I'm gonna have to stop when I run out of whiskey in this bottle, you know.
That's fair.
Or go down and get more.
That's also fair. I'll leave that executive decision up for you.
I'll probably start going for the crappy whiskey my mum got me from Tesco's. It's not really crappy, it's just I don't really understand. I've never tried it on its own. I'm not wasting my £80 single still Irish whiskey on this.
Zack, will you please stop interrupting my Zanketsuken?
You can't escape.
Yeah, Zack.
It's my coolest move. Come on, Doris.
You know, maybe if you weren't so obsessed with aesthetics. Did he just throw meteorites at you? Damn, Zack. You know, the real tragedy of this is that nothing particularly interesting is happening. Who are you? Zack asked. I'm you, in the future, only without my black hair dye, replied Terra.
You can't escape. Come on. It's over.
They're probably more close in age than you think. But no, seriously, Terra does look like Zack from Forest is cool.
He does.
You can't escape.
You know, looking at the straps that Terra's got on, I'm reminded of this Fallout 4 fic I read where somebody was, they had Nick Valentine wearing suspenders and a belt, and you're kind of standing there going, you don't understand what suspenders are for, do you?
You can't escape.
They're for keeping your trousers up. You don't need them and a belt.
Okay, new tactic.
I
Mughal.
guess it was his gun holder strap that they were taking off, but they didn't specify. Also, it was a U fix, so it wasn't very good to begin with. Oh, hello, Benji.
Hey, Benji.
Do you want to answer the person? Sup, bruh?
Trying to beat darkness-infused terror is what's up, bruh. Okay, we can't really use Zanketsuken for the stat, so we may as well replace that with a cure. Now we're ready.
Once I've conquered the darkness in my heart,
Doesn't count, it's already said it.
I'll never have to fear it again.
I'm gonna skip this scene just so that we don't have to.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. I mean, I think just my doctor would murder you. Defeat the mysterious soldier, who you already know who it is because he's kicked your ass already. Man. 30p Freddos. What's the world coming to? He does look pretty small.
No, actually, he's not much shorter than Terra.
I know, he is a bit. He's slighter than Terra too. It's probable that he just hasn't hit his growth spurt yet. He can't be younger than what? 15, 16?
Yeah.
Of course, these are caramel Freddos, which used to be called Taz's.
That's not right, Bar.
What? They were totally called Taz's? Or is it not right that they changed the name?
It's not right that they were ever called Taz's. That's just wrong.
I think that... No, they were... Plain ones were Freddos, caramel ones were Taz's. I don't know why. It seems like a really odd thing to license for, you know?
Stop it!
So, like, what is this? Sora and Roxas are basically clouds. What's his face? Tall silver-head kid. Riku is basically Sephiroth, and what? Terra is basically Zack. And Kaido is like basically 3 different characters splashed together because Nomura has a very limited scope of what women are.
The kid, he's Zack from Final Fantasy VII.
Isn't he who Cloud's looking for in later games?
Cloud's looking for Sephiroth, who seems to have some kind of link with Zack.
Yeah, he killed him.
Or did he?
Also, which is, I don't care.
There is a prominent theory that Sephiroth is Zack's Heartless and Cloud is his Nobody.
I'm wistfully remembering the days of yore when I RP'd with somebody and we RP'd Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts. Sephiroth shipped with Shigo from Kim Possible, which is actually still a ship I can go for. Yeah, you specifically were there because you took part in some of these RPs. I'm wistful, but not super wistful because those fun arcs came with a lot of downsides. Let's leave it at that.
I don't have that many ships at all, actually, to come to think of it, Glowy.
Yeah.
What do you mean hero-villain ships? And this specifically, Darkness.
Where is...
He's gone.
Man, how could I let a guy like him control me? I'll never live it down.
2.
It's 4 for you, isn't it?
Thanks.
3.
Terra.
Oh, he's so cute when he's got the life back in his eyes.
I'm Zack.
I now instantly ship these 2.
Yep. Definitely. Terra.
God, look at Zack's proportions. He's proportioned like an early 90s Barbie doll.
Not the way you look. There's something else about you.
Yeah, you're concentrating on what's important there, Zach.
I'm no hero. Trust me.
You kidding?
Yeah, he's really looking. He's looking at his pecs.
You don't get to decide if you're a hero or not. They do. And they've already made up their mind.
There's no one there, Zach.
Like it or not, you're their hero. And mine too.
Yeah, but this isn't heroism. This is just being decent at a sport.
Too bad. I really wanted to fight you fair and square.
Maybe.
Sorry,
someday.
is this the Let's Ship Terror with Everyone show? You know, you can always do that on your own time. Okay, so my OT3 for this game is Terra, Zack, and Cinderella. Okay, I'm gonna have to make finger guns and a clicky noise. Oh yeah, you're hitting way too hard, Terra. I'm gonna walk for a week.
All the way out here?
Hero villain ships. I know I have a few, I'm just trying to think of them. What the fuck is that?
These are just a bunch of unversed.
I'm half expecting Nemo and, no, not Nemo, Marlin and Dory to just bounce along top of them. These sort of like the mutant love children of Toads from Mario and Jellyfish. Why is he killing them? Why can't he just ignore them? I suppose the closest thing I've got to a hero villain ship right now that I can think of off the top of my head is Josh and Sam from Until Dawn. But that's not really a hero villain ship because it's hero slash troubled young man who desperately needs adequate mental health care and is not getting it. Just remembering her talking to the police bit. So sad. Had others. I wish I could say I shipped Female Courier 6, Wolpes and Coulter, but I don't, because I don't really know anything about Wolpes and Coulter. Apart from the fact that he looks silly. I'm never strong enough to attack him when he's burning nips into the ground.
Is he the one?
Yes, Grand Councilwoman. I've confined him until we can determine what he is. Take cover. Leave it to me to handle these fiends. Whatever you are, you're under arrest.
I don't know, give me some properties and I'll tell you if I have any ships in it.
Unversed.
Whatever you are, you're under arrest eventually. I know you can hear them, but I can't, so... Wait, what? How did he get out?
He has a Keyblade.
Yeah, but it didn't show up like door opening or anything.
Yeah, they showed him pointing a beam of light at it.
Yeah, I just trying to make him look like teleported. My DC ships. Well, I shipped Batman Lois Lane. That's not really a villain hero ship. What's my favourite villains from DC? I like the Riddler. I like the Riddler quite a lot, but I don't ship him with anybody, not really. He always strikes me as the kind of guy who's too into his own head for that, you know? Why Lois? Because Lois and Batman are like... They're very similar. In a way. They both fight for justice in their own ways, for starters. And I know it's easy to go, oh yeah, but Superman does that too, but the thing is, and the reality of the fact is, Superman's never had to work for a damn thing in a day in his life. Once he got his superpowers, that was it. Boys have every single last thing handed him to a silver platter. Now it's easy to think the same of Bruce Wayne because he's wealthy, but that you know, money can't buy you abs, you know. Ooh, so do you take stream requests there, Doug?
I'd definitely consider stream requests if you've got any.
Superman works at Daily Planet. Yeah, he does. But the thing is, he's Superman, so yeah, it's kind of a problem. It's hard to take anything he does seriously when it all comes so easily to him. I mean, Lois Lane is the best reporter the Daily Planet has, and she's a completely normal person who's been raised by a slightly crazy military father. And then you got
Wait! You help! I have been imprisoned on a
Clark Kent, who's like the second best reporter for the Daily Planet, but he's Superman, so like it pales in comparison to her achievements because she's had to work harder.
I have always been interested in the Dragon's Dogma games, Darkskull. Or Darkskull. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma games. I know a lot of people really like them. I've never tried them personally.
I haven't because I'm bitter. I'm bitter that Capcom abandoned Dragon's Breath.
Breath of Fire.
Breath of Fire, sorry, shut up. There's been a lot of darkness mentioned in this game.
So, I mean, I'll look into Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, and I'll definitely consider it for streaming after this, and possibly after Fate X Stellar.
Okay,
I need to get back to streaming Horizon Zero Dawn.
I love watching you stream for Horizon Zero Dawn.
You like watching me fail.
No, I love Horizon Zero Dawn, and you're not terrible at it. Apart from that one time when you were trying to shoot a bunch of things in a corrupted zone and you kept falling off a cliff.
So I keep falling off cliffs a lot. I think I might do some like hunting and stuff just to get back in the swing of things.
Let's fix our command deck for the post-Zack world.
I really do need to consider getting a capture card so I can start streaming my console games. Because I have all of the Breath of Fire games apart from 6. More DC ships. I've been known to ship Wonder Woman and Batman. The thing is about Batman, he's really easy to ship with anybody. I also ship him with Superman, actually.
I might as well meld all of my cures into better cures for better people.
You know, Darkskull, the way you put that actually does make Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen sound quite attractive. I should give it a shot.
Yeah.
Check it on Steam.
Certainly one of us should stream it, either you or I.
Well, I'm something of a Capcom loyalist, so maybe it should be me. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. It's currently £24 on Steam.
You know, it's weird, we're quite late in Terra's story now, and yet I feel like we have really shit action and magic commands.
This is just reminding me that I need to start playing with... I might hold out and get the PS4 because, to be honest, streaming on the PS4 is easier than on PC.
I don't know, I'm going to see if I can find a Moogle and buy some better commands. No, well, a Moogle will turn up.
Okay, here's a random question. If somebody said you could have an extra fully functioning finger on each hand, would you go for it?
I mean, if there's no price for it, then sure, but I don't know why I'd need it.
You love character creators, Glowy, that's what you live for. Speaking of character creators, I should probably put Leo up on Tumblr so everybody knows who's bullying current.
Speaking of character creators, I should disable Sonic Strike on Tails action commands because it triggers randomly, and then when he doesn't select it, he ends up stunned. Oh shit, I completely forgot I can do this. That would have made the Zack battle way easier. I know, Tara, I'm just defeating all these unversed.
Oh, did you mention darkness again?
No, he was talking about how he can't go a certain way because he hears voices.
What, like,
honestly, that's an issue for him and his doctor. Or is he
just going a bit mad?
People just talking.
I kind of just cut off your joke there, didn't I?
Yeah, it was well harsh. I will cry profusely about it later.
Put hand cream on and now my glass is slipping in my hands. To be honest, Darskull, you have kind of sold us on it already.
Yeah, like, definitely one of us is going to be streaming it at one point. Tara, stop. Stop. Tara, no.
Terra, yes. Wait, is this a bloody pinball table? It is a pinball table! Where the hell do you think you are, Square Enix? Sega? Oh, you mean Isaac Clarke? He has a nice ass, he's got to protect it. His
I was
wife
just
wouldn't
going to
appreciate
say
it if he
exactly
lost
that.
it. I do like Skyrim. Only problem is I like Fallout more. So, yeah. You suck at pinball.
You suck at pinball.
I know, I'll never live up to my dad's legacy of being competent. I'm terrified that one day somebody's going to see his high score on my arm and go, "That's shit!"
I wonder how to kill that person.
We'll have to kill that person.
This is where I came from.
Yeah, I think it fundamentally comes down to the fact that I prefer robots to werewolves. No, yeah, that's basically the problem in a single sentence.
This is a very, there are only two genders, robots and werewolves moment.
What about a robot werewolf? Question, does one of the animal-themed Transformers that turns into a wolf count as a werewolf?
No.
Because they're not a man to begin with, because they're a robot.
Yeah, basically.
But what if Nick Valentine could transform into a wolf robot? Would he then be a werewolf? Because he is, by all important definitions, a man.
But he can't do that.
Yeah, but what if he could?
I mean, what if the moon were made of cheese?
Fine, don't answer the question. Try and have witty
stop
banter.
Interrupting Zanketsuken.
It's a long-winded attack, just live with it.
Yeah, it's a long-winded attack, and they should wait for me to finish.
I don't know, even if Mecha Wolf is what you're suggesting for the Transformer, aren't they a mecha either way?
Gotcha.
Actually, no, I think Nick Valentine would just be like a shapeshifter, really, rather than any kind of traditional werewolf. Unless they put the mind of a wolf in it as well, but that seems like a kind of pointless and a waste of time. But then again, this is the Institute. They do what they must because they can.
For the sake of all of us, except the ones who are dead. See,
No,
I
you've
prefer
got a
swords
point.
over guns.
I prefer bows over both. I've never. That's an anime Gurren Lagann, isn't it? I've never seen it.
I watched the first episode, but I never got any further than that, and I keep meaning to.
What did you think? Was it a bit dull, or did you just not find the time?
I didn't find the time. I'm a
It's that
moderately
kind
busy
of
man.
entertaining, but not super engaging.
Well, it was the first episode, and first episodes of animes are never, they never reach their full potential. But it was fun. I liked it.
Okay, question for Gurren Lagann. Would you recommend sub, or is the dub acceptable?
That's a good question.
Because I'm interested in making a quilt and finishing a scarf I've been working on for the last 2 years, and I need my eyes. So something I can listen to instead of having to constantly watch would be good. Because trying to do more stitch whilst your intentions spread is not really a great idea.
You know what does have a perfectly surface-level dub? My Hero Academia.
Well, according to Darskull here, the dub is better, which is a rare thing indeed.
That is a rare thing indeed.
Do you know what I think? Do you want to know the example I think where the dub is better than the sub? Kung Fu Hustle, which isn't an anime, it's a film, but the reason I say the dub is better is because it adds this extra layer of camp cheese to the whole thing that the sub just doesn't, because you don't have the you murdered my father, mouth continues to move, prepare to die thing going on. Like, I don't think this is a context that, like, the original, like, the people who watch it in the original language, I think it's Chinese in Kung Fu Hustle's case, would ever be able to understand, really, because this is just how we expect to see films like that when they're dubbed. partially because we're English speakers and we're kind of, you know, heavily catered to, and it's really to our detriment. Well, it was more convenient for me, so, well, with Gurren Lagann anyway. So I think I'd go for that. That reminds me, I need to watch Dark Shadows at some point. Probably tomorrow. Yeah. Ugh, and then I need to start reading Old Magic. Why did I say I'd review that? So bad.
You know, no one's forcing you to read Dark Shadow except me.
No, Dark Shadows is a movie. Old Magic is the book.
No one's forcing you to read Old Magic except me.
You want me to read it, and you want me to write about it, because it will go really well into the why I liked Hermione Granger and why I hate her now post. And referring back to older posts is really good for you.
It is really good for me, and also people like criticism. Negative reviews always get way more hits than positive ones.
Part of me wants to start like I wouldn't call it a YouTube drama channel, but like a what the fuck is going on channel. You know, for people who are vaguely interested in YouTube related drama but don't like care that much. Like when Anita Sarkeesian said something and people were like, oh my god, no she didn't, and I'm like, well, what? I don't know if you ever reviewed it. It's it's like a movie adaptation of an old 60s-ish television series. It was directed by let me just check. John, did you? Yeah. It was directed by. No, you're thinking of Dark Dungeons, different film. No, I'll get on to Dark Dungeons in a second. No, it was directed by. He did Beetlejuice. Johnny Depp's in most of his films as he is in Dark Shadows. Turned out to be a dick. Fucked up Batman's character.
Christopher Nolan.
No, fucked up Batman's character worse.
Ben Affleck.
He's a director. He's also very famous. He did Nightmare Before Christmas. Tim Burton. Oh yeah, Tim Burton, you just said. Sorry, I was too busy thinking, oh, I can do this, I can do this. Yeah, so, Dark Dungeons. Dark Dungeons is, it's, oh god. It's the movie adaptation of a chick tract. That they got official, like they licensed it and everything from Chick Publishing, because Chick Publishing didn't realise what they were going to do with it. And it is amazing.
No, stop! My friend gave me that.
No, Dark Dungeons is amazing. It's awful on purpose. It's really, really, really stupid, and I love it.
Friend, are you shocking? Such concept is totally lost on 626.
Funny. This whole time I've been telling myself I want to be stronger, more independent. But the second I let my heart do the talking, I find out how little I really know myself. And how much I miss them.
He's very cute.
Stitch is great. Stitch would never stab someone.
Maybe in his
He's always
heart,
doing
he
this,
wants
by the way.
friends, just like the rest of us.
Impossible. Petty. He has no actual feelings, only destructive instincts I have carefully chosen for him. Or perhaps you need another demonstration of
I
my
know,
evil
he's so
genius.
sweet. Why do you have a conical flask on your person at all times? Also, how does putting a bit of whatever the hell that was into a conical flask make a monster?
Don't try to apply logic to Kingdom Hearts, it will only bring you suffering.
Be like...
I like this DOS because he lets me use Zanketsuken on him.
You know, actually, you brought Dark Dungeons. Now I'm starting to remember Mace's monsters, which is hilarious because, like, every single time they try and sell it to you these days, they point out that Tom Hanks is in it, but he's really not even a main character, and his acting is horrendous in it because he was very young at the time. So funny. Maze of the Monsters is a far-out game.
Oh, it's so good.
Gotcha.
And so why are you fighting GLaDOS all of a sudden?
Sometimes people have to fight GLaDOS to live.
Let's go.
You know, I was just thinking, like, they're trying to think of, like, a truly universal symbol for something being dangerous. And they're like, oh, but what if aliens find something with a skull and crossbones on it? Well, they understand that it's dangerous. And I'm like, well, if they will, if you leave a skeleton next to it.
They will if
Because
they
they'll look
have
at the skeleton and
skulls.
go... Yeah, but what if they don't have skulls? If you leave a skeleton next to it, they'll probably realise that was a living thing at some point, and that looks like it, so this must kill that thing. Doesn't have to be a real one.
What is it? Why have you returned?
Maybe he's wondering what a friend is.
Ridiculous.
Oh, Stitch is so cute. I think it's cuter when he has 6 arms.
My name is Terra.
That is something we're going to learn in life. That's an important life lesson everybody needs
I
to
can't explain friendship.
eventually learn,
When you
Darsko.
feel it, you'll know it.
Not if I have any sin.
Darkskull, is your icon of
You will destroy next.
Goku
What is wrong?
from Dragon Ball Z?
I think that's Vegeta.
I'm pretty sure that's Goku, but
I think you're
Darkskull will have to
Goku.
confirm one way or the other. Oh.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I was right.
Now I owe you £20 because that's how saying anything works.
Yep. Doesn't that bring your tab up to like 100 and my tab up to like 350?
Yeah.
Aqua.
Yeah, see, Terra has fucked up things here too. Take 2 sips.
We're playing a drinking game.
Yeah, the rules of a drinking game are you take a drink every time someone says darkness. And you take a drink, take 2 drinks every time Terra irrevocably fucks something up. Like
Do you
what
know
idiot
how I
he
knew that
is.
was Goku, by the way? It's hard
Go
to
on,
make
teach
out,
me the
but
ways.
he's got a lock of hair falling forward onto his forehead, whereas Vegeta doesn't.
One day I hope that it is committed to Dark Souls. Dark Souls? That doesn't even sound like Dragon
Souls.
Ball. Yes, Dark Souls with its famous characters Goku and Vegeta. As committed a Dragon Ball fan as you.
I was never into Dragon Ball, I was into Dragon Ball Z, and later I tried to be in Dragon Ball GT, but it's just inherently not as good.
Okay.
It's not really the same, because in my experience, I was into the anime, never the manga. So in my experience, Dragon Ball, like just Dragon Ball, is it's kind of crass and childish and puerile. And then you got Dragon Ball Z, which is just like the best, and then you got Dragon Ball GT, which is just too family friendly, if you get my drift.
Oh gosh, who are my favourite characters in fiction? That's difficult to say. There are so many characters in fiction. There's at least 12.
What are they, Ken?
I like...
Leave him to me.
Well, I like Batman, for starters.
Honestly, given how many characters I've based off him, it's probably fair to say I really like Aizen Sosuke, even though he is a trash character for trash people.
Granny Weatherwax. Come on, you gotta love you gotta give props to the OG GW.
I do like Granny Weatherwax.
She's great, isn't she? And Sam Vines, because they're very similar. They're very, very similar, those two.
Now I'm wondering who my favourite Discworld character is. It's probably Death.
Yeah. Okay, the thing is, Dragon Ball, like what you just said, it has Goku slapping girls in the crotches running through it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Shit like that is why I don't much care for Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z is more grown up than that, but Dragon Ball GT is so much more childish, but in a more, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, sanitized way. And that's why I don't like it as much. I like the joke. I like the Riddler more than the Joker, to be honest.
See,
but then again, I watched a lot of 60s Batman as a child, so...
My personal favourite Batman villain is probably Ra's al Ghul, but I do have a soft spot for Nightfall, who was introduced in the New 52 Batgirl series.
Yeah, but you know how I feel about New 52 and most of the DCU reboots. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z did have a lot of serious moments. I definitely think of the three of them, Dragon Ball Z is just the best one. It has that slightly sanitized feel of GT, but it's still got like the life of just regular Dragon Ball to it.
It's interesting how much Akira Toriyama just... I mean, even after Dragon Ball kind of faded a bit in people's estimations, he still dominated the battle shonen genre because all of the big series were made by his apprentices for a pretty long time.
Oh, is that why Yu Yu Hakusho is a lot like Dragon Ball, and it used to be on like the 5 great plagiarism list, and then it got taken off because it deviated?
I don't think Yu Yu Hakusho was actually done by one of his apprentices, but One Piece,
sure
Bleach, and Naruto all were.
Can we, for a moment, go at the inevitable lack of royalties being paid to the Great Ormond Street Hospital? Because Disney refuses to pay them for the use of the properties of J.M. Barrie.
Yeah, Disney really should be paying proceeds to Great Ormond Street Hospital for this. And I blame Disney for this, not Square Enix, because...
I blame Square Enix for crediting these characters, the characters of J.M. Barrie, and I think Lewis Carroll as well, to the Disney Corporation in 358 over 2 days, which is completely unacceptable.
Tell me more about this boy who's troubling you. What's his name?
That raises an interesting question of who our favourite Final Fantasy characters are. And right now, I think mine is Arden. That crazy bastard.
I like Balthier.
Oh, I do like Balthier. I think I like Arden more.
I think the reason I like Balthier so much is that he's the Wesley of Final Fantasy. I mean, come on, he's going to be scared of the dread pirate Famran. He is just Wesley from The Princess Bride, only without a love interest.
One of these days, I am going to do a proper stream of Final Fantasy 15, and I will make you grit your teeth through the sections where Sid is being disrespectful to his rightful monarch, and sit through it, just because I adore that game more than I have any Final Fantasy game since 12, and B,
there's been one Final Fantasy game since 12.
Yeah, one, and its many sequels.
Yeah, look, I don't have anything against Final Fantasy XIV, but I do think the idea of turning a main series numbered Final Fantasy game into an MMORPG was a misstep. If that's what was taken down from on high, I would insist on there being standalone, single-player spin-off games in those universes to tie it all in into making it possible for people to give a crap. It didn't work with 11, and it's barely working with 14.
Yeah, the 13 trilogy was terrible, and honestly, Type 0 and 15 benefited immensely from just separating themselves. Yeah. But, I mean, 15, for all that it's a woefully incomplete game, I do absolutely love. If it wasn't incomplete, it would be my favourite Final Fantasy game.
That's not most of the people working on the game's fault at all.
No, it's not. They had a contract.
It's Nomura's fault. I know they're not interconnected in the first place, but they are. Out of 15 games, 13 of them are standalone single-player experiences. Do people talk much about 11? Has 11 had much of an impact at all? Has 14 had much of an impact at all? Because once a new Final Fantasy Moonwalker comes out, people are going to forget about that just like they forgot about 11.
I mean, I hear people really have enjoyed 14, but I mean, yeah, it's not made a huge impact, and not 9. 9, everyone loves 9. 11 didn't make a huge impact either.
I'm not saying you can't have a Final Fantasy MMORPG, I'm just saying you need a standalone single-player experience to go with it to give people context for what it's like. Especially since these games are still working on a subscription basis, and I just do not have that kind of money, or am I willing to put in that amount of time. But a single player experience, yes, because once I have it, I'll always have it. Besides, these games work in a strange way where their stories aren't interconnected, but they're related to each other.
They have recurring themes and motifs, essentially. We interrupt the status of doing some sedate swimming.
This is actually one of my problems with Kingdom Hearts, is that what people really want is an interconnected Final Fantasy universe, but what Nimoy has given them is an interconnected Disney universe with a bunch of OCs in it.
Yeah, basically.
There is so much more you could do. Like, I've maintained for absolutely years that if I was doing Kingdom Hearts, I'd have Merlin be friends with Cecil from Final Fantasy IV and have Cecil live in the King Arthur world.
Yeah. Sorry, please ignore me.
Hello, Axel.
Hey, Axel 8. Good to see you here. We were just talking about our various gripes with the Final Fantasy series. Much as... And
we only gripe because we love it.
Yeah, I mean, we're both relatively big fans of Final Fantasy. You've kind of faded out a bit from it on account of the whole 13 debacle.
Yeah, I have a bit, to be honest, and I'm not sure. I might get 15 once it's finished, but I'm not going to get it at the moment. And I've no interest in playing an MMORPG. But I will give it this. It's something I still am very interested in the whole. In fact, this is part of why I want there to be standalone single-player experiences in the Final Fantasy 11 and 14 universes, is because there's a little part of me that wants to own every Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, same.
Okay, this bottle of Bullet Rye Frontier whiskey's now empty, so if I run out, I'm gonna have to go get some more.
Well, hopefully no one will mention darkness for a while. You won't have to drink.
I actually don't recognise the names Ava or Ava and Gula. Could you
I do.
Like, oh, who are they? Who are they?
Okay, so I've mentioned to you kind of the mobile tie-in, Kingdom Hearts Chi. Yeah, which has actually like a really interesting plot. Arthur and Gula are two characters in that. There are 5 masked Keyblade masters, the foretellers, and Arthur and Gula are 2 members of those. And the others are Aced, Invi, and Ira. And then their wayward 6th apprentice, who isn't one of the foretellers, Lushu.
Cool. Well, I'm afraid I don't actually really know much about these characters, Axel. So, do you have any other ships like KH1, KH2 kind of era ships?
Although for me, I do quite like Arthur Gula. Right, that's a fun ship. I can get behind it.
Well, I've got to say, if my boy Doug is endorsing your ship, then you've got good taste in ships there, Axel. I don't know, I'm not a great fan of Sora Riku, to be brutally honest. Mostly because I find Riku to be a bit annoying. I've said before, there's a certain type of female character, especially a teenage female character in fiction, that I don't care for. I will call her the Hermione for shorthand. And Riku is basically the male equivalent of that. You get me?
Well, that might be the most unique view on Riku I've ever heard.
Sorry. Look, I'm not saying that he can't be an interesting character. I mean, to be honest, if he's not grown up a bit by the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, I'd be surprised. He did grow up by the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. But I started playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and Jesus Christ, Riku, you're not doing yourself any favours. Yeah, brooding is a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, sometimes it's quite interesting. It can add intrigue to a character, but a lot of the time it's just misused. It's like the concept of grimdark. Darkness is inherently interesting, but to take it to its extreme is to just drive it into the ground.
Yeah, same. I'm not a huge fan of broody characters, which is why most of my characters are relentlessly cheerful.
Actually, do you know what the problem I find with a lot of broody characters is they brood with no real purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, take Batman, who is the king of brooding, but he's constantly finding reasons to brood. Like, well, he's not finding them, they're just kind of happening.
Batman letting Jason Todd die so that he has a reason to brood. It is how things had to be.
You call Roxas Chungus? Are you watching Jim Sterling there, mate?
Hey, my boy Jim Sterling.
Booty characters. No, booty characters.
Terra's the duty character.
Booster Gold's a booty character too, because that ass. Oh, Jim Sterling. Yeah, Jim's the best.
I would willingly let Jim Sterling stab me and call me a darn good sport.
Yeah, I think all of that Coliseum whiskey is starting to kick in.
Luckily, I don't think anyone mentions darkness in this world, so you have time to recover.
No, they're Hakama.
Yeah, he and Ericus are both dressed like samurai. Well, sort of like samurai. Samurai didn't wear skin-tight t-shirts. I mean,
I'm also not convinced about that thing around his waist, because maybe it's meant to be something similar to an obi or something like that, but it kind of looks like I don't know how to describe this. There's this kind of trousers that matadors wear, and if you ever watched something like Strictly Come Dancing or maybe Dancing with the Stars, because I'm assuming at least one out of you, Axel and Darskull, are American, because statistically it's quite likely. When they do the Paso Doble, I'll answer that in a second. They wear this kind of trousers with a high waistband and it's kind of corseted at the front. That's what the top of Terra's Hakama reminds me of.
No, Darskull, we're not dating, nor are we related. We're just very old friends.
Yeah, we met in the first year of university, and we've been firm friends ever since.
God, first year of university, that would have been 8 years ago now.
Oh god, I feel so old. We
Jesus
met
Christ.
at the first session of GameSock, where I just kind of latched onto you, and you were like, "Yeah, this works."
Yeah. So we've been friends ever since.
I mean, like, if the fact that you think we're brother and sister is quite flattering, because I'm the kind of person who's like, yes, my close friends are my relatives.
Slowly latching a hand on someone's shoulder. You are my sibling now.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
'Cause then I got
but I already have
like-
siblings. For now.
Well, you just have more. It's not like I don't have actual like blood-related siblings. I've got 2, and he's got 1 as well. So it's not like we're dying for siblings here. Oh my god, those Lost Boys look ridiculous. Well, Axel, what you gotta do is make yourself a really good friend, and then you'll basically be relatives. I really like found families in fiction and in real life because, like, why not, you know? Tara, are you really gonna beat up an immortal prepubescent?
I was just thinking that. Like, Peter Pan is like physically 10. Terra, what the fuck are you doing?
Do you know what makes this even worse?
What?
It's that heavy implication in the works of J.M. Barrie that Peter Pan is dead.
Yeah.
Are you wanting at the is Peter Pan dead thing, or are you what? You know, I would love to be siblings with you, Glowy. Like, seriously.
Yeah, same.
There's a little part of me going, I would totally go to Denmark just to meet up with you because you're so much fun. But no, yeah, there's a heavy implication in the works of J.M. Barrie that Peter Pan and the Lost Boys are dead. This is an afterlife.
Yeah, I think they say there was an open window when Peter Pan was in his pram. And he, air quotes, leaves through it. That when he returns, his parents have a new child. And they've forgotten about him. And the implication is that he died from some kind of illness.
Jewels, doubloons, you know, the usual stuff.
I've been guarding a pile of loot.
I mean, isn't that one of the things you say about children when they die, is that they'll never get to grow up?
Yeah.
I owe you an apology. I picked a fight over nothing.
Oh, it was all in good fun. Not every day I get to fight such a good swordsman. Say, what's your name?
Neverland is a strange place, but it's quite, I find it quite
Right then, Tara.
comforting to think that they're somewhere that they enjoy, you know?
Shooting star?
Yeah.
Tinkerbell must
I
be
do
in
blame
danger.
Donald.
Men, guard that
I don't know how
Sorry,
it's
we're
his
playing
fault.
Donald
but
the
it is.
Duck or Donald the Trump?
Donald the Duck.
They can't enjoy themselves because of... No! Hook's there for their enjoyment.
Yeah, Hook's their adversary, but they always have the upper hand.
See, what these children want, they're Victorian era children, so they want to play with Native Americans and fight pirates. It's...
The Hook movies were very good.
There was more than one.
Possibly. There was definitely at least one, which I watched and liked.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I mean, it's a different take, but it's still quite entertaining in its own way. Also, Maggie Smith hasn't aged since.
No, I mean, there is a theory that that film was just one long dark magic ritual, which stopped Maggie Smith from aging. She
But then
will
again,
never
you've got
die.
to compare and contrast to Patrick Stewart, who hasn't aged since his first appearance on Coronation Street in the 60s.
Patrick Stewart just does not fucking age.
No, he doesn't. The thing is, he went bald really early.
Well, that was the
So-
price he paid.
Yeah. But you know what? I can't imagine him with hair. It would be kind of off-putting, really, wouldn't it?
It would be very upsetting for all of us, yes.
One of my favourite things about Patrick Stewart is like he's best
where I'm
friends
going.
with Ian McKellen, and that's just like the most gratifying thing. Isn't there like a quote of him somewhere saying that like Ian McKellen was really, really, really good looking when he was young?
Yeah, and I mean pictures frankly bear that out.
Really good looking. I just imagine Patrick Stewart sounding really wistful and sighing as he says it, and you're like, yeah, I believe you. I also still firmly believe in your heterosexuality somehow, because you're Patrick Stewart and you are nothing if not honest.
Yeah, like.
I wish I could have such a warm opinion of Derek Jacobi, but he's one of those assholes who don't think Shakespeare wrote Shakespeare. There's a name for them, but I can't remember what it is.
Anti-Stratfordian, because they believe that Shakespeare or Stratford didn't. Will you stop hitting me, you assholes? Don't you know who I am?
Okay. Like, being gay isn't bad, like, inherently. The only problem with it is that, like, it's probably why he never bred, which is something of a disappointment because, you know, he's very, very good looking. You know?
My mother actually, she saw Ian McKellen performing in Romeo and Juliet, I think. He was playing Romeo, and she just instantly fell in love with him at that moment, as I imagine did everyone who saw him.
Oh my god! Oh, he was in Coronation Street. And he got together with Gail's mother. Ian McKellen is one of those he's one of those gay men that every woman would love to hear say, "You could turn me." I mean, it's a blatant lie, but it's very flattering.
Fuck you, Gully. You would get murdered by mushrooms too. You don't know my story.
The thing is, Ian McKellen's so old now that him breeding is basically out of the question, so we're just gonna have to, like, live with Ian McKellen as we have him. Do you know who I'm willing to accept as a replacement for Ian McKellen Jr.? Alan Armstrong's son.
Oh yes. Alan Armstrong's son is, I mean, he looks exactly like Alan Armstrong, is what he does.
Yeah, but young Alan Armstrong.
Yeah.
So good looking going into acceptable.
Like, he didn't pop out of the womb as an elderly man.
Oh my god! Oh, you know, we should totally do like a riff tracks or something of Krull.
Krull is a very disturbing film for me, though.
It's really disturbing film, because the thing is, when we first met, before I met your, oh, sorry, I knocked my pop filter. Before we met for the first, like, when we first met, before I met Doug's dad for the first time, he told me that his father looked disturbingly like Liam Neeson. And I was like, I don't believe you. And then I met his dad. And he does. His dad looks disturbingly like Liam Neeson. So the joke is, there's like a Solid Snake thing going on with Liam Neeson, Doug, and his dad. But then I love Krull. It's one of my, like, it's one of those things. It's like the Deadly Premonition of films to me. It's either the best film ever made or it's the worst film ever made. Although I'd argue that Krull would benefit from being an hour longer than it is. I should probably write about Krull for your blog to really explain how I feel about it, because it's one of those films I really, really like. But yeah, so it's got a lot of British Isles actors, of British and Irish actors in it, including Alan Armstrong, which is how we got into this conversation in the first place. But it's also got a young Liam Neeson in it. So if Doug's dad looks like Liam Neeson does now, young Liam Neeson looks disturbingly like Doug does, or at least how Doug did 7 years ago when we watched it together. We could find like footage of Liam Neeson at the similar ages in his life, the same age Doug is now, and Doug would just feel so freaked out. Can you imagine how difficult it is for him to watch Taken when he's like 50?
Yeah, Darsko, my father would do that every day. Before I went to school, he would just call me up and be like, I have a very specific set of skills. mostly involving human resources and tech.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I really do like Kroll though. I mean, if I would love a Kroll video game, because I've said it before and I'll say it. Maybe that's what my post about Kroll should be about. Why Kroll would make a really good video game.
Yeah, go for it.
Every star up there is
Like I really like Kroll. There's just so much to like about it. It's too short for what it is. It feels shorter than it is. It's 2 hours long, but it feels dramatically shorter because there's no breathing room.
Yeah.
Some of the, I remember watching it when I was young, and I'm glad you're enjoying it, Darskull.
Oh, thank you, Darskull.
I remember watching Kroll when I was young and remembering some of the really important story beats, but the reality is, as I watched it when I was older, these story beats take place back to back. I thought I was just remembering it wrong. Like, I was cutting out the middle bits that weren't really important, but served for pacing. But no, they're just back to back. It's insane.
So much for the pirate treasure.
Oh my god, who's the father?
I presume Terra, as the only man in her age range that she has ever encountered.
I don't know, I can't really ship Aqua and Terra because I'm too busy shipping him with like Cinderella and Zack and actually Sleeping Beauty Aurora as well, to be honest. They look like they make a really cute couple. And I might as well include Disney film Philip too.
Yeah.
They'd make a good threesome.
Kinda makes me wonder.
Okay, now I'm just imagining him like putting his hand on that kid's shoulder going, "You are now my son." Then is the father. Oh my god, Aqua, you cradle robber! No, Peter Pan can't father anything.
Aqua, you cat! You rake!
This light.
No, seriously, like when he's in that form, Terra looks like a furry Kamen Rider.
He does. He...
Really does.
Oh hey, it's Destiny Islands.
Oh
The
god.
place where every villain comes from. Well, where Xehanort comes from. And Riku. And Sora.
Somewhere out there, there's this tree with star-shaped
You see, the thing is, I would take a sip every time low HP sounds blaring, but I can't hear anything.
Don't you? Yeah. I thought you were going to say that Doug gets low on HD so often that I would just end up at Birmingham Hospital.
I can't tell because I can't hear.
Good. You
Because
never know
I'm having
when.
My voice is coming through the chat function on the PS4,
Aqua.
and I'm watching the stream on my computer, so I've had to mute it so you don't hear the stream like reverberating. So I actually I can't hear the in-game sound at all.
Sora's definitely shaping up to be a bit of a villain, Darskull. I mean, Xehanort did try to make him into another Xehanort, and I'm sure he'll try again.
Xehanort does that to everybody.
It's true.
Hey, slow down. Would you just wait for me? Give it up already?
I have a theory that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to end up with the final section will be you playing as Roxas fighting against Sora. Just kind of to bookend it with Kingdom Hearts 2, where you start off as Roxas and then play as Sora. But that's just a theory. A game theory.
Posts.
I should turn Ultimacia is the Great Hein into like an entire blog post.
Yeah, you should. We should have a theory section. Also, by the way, you really need to start like putting my name in the tags of the posts I write for you, because I need to find them all at some point, and you're making it really difficult.
That's fair. I don't use the tags at all, which is why I haven't been doing that.
I mean, I'd do it for you, but I don't have access to. This is a discussion for another time. But
yeah, we're just here
blog.
discussing like the administration of my blog.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, Terra's having like character development and shit.
Because nobody lives out here. And I know you're not from Maine.
Who are you? I'm you, but older.
So how about you? What are you doing here?
Oh,
Nobody must know of other worlds except all these people who already know from other worlds.
they won't let us grow out here by ourselves. Not till we get older.
I'm actually starting to wonder if Destiny Islands is off.
Step in one place.
Like the mainland they keep talking about is like Spira.
I heard
I mean, Tidus
It would
and
make
Walker.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, they do both come from here.
See, part of the reason I'm getting tipsier than him is that I'm just drinking whiskey because I like it, whereas he's got shit whiskey.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely have Axel, Roxas, Terra, Aqua, and Ven all returned to normal somehow, just to cap off this story arc.
Why is Terra seeing into the future?
I want to be strong one day.
Don't know,
Like Kitty.
to be honest.
We went to the outside world.
My theory is that Zion is in fact another
It's out
Xehanort.
there somewhere. The strength
I mean, there are a bunch of the Xehanorts who haven't been revealed
to
yet.
protect the things that matter.
Well, if you think about it, if the whole
You know,
let's stick an X in someone's name thing, what you get for Roxas and characters like Axel is true, then Zion's would be NOI, which would be number 1 in Roman numerals.
Yeah.
Besides, even the most masculine of men have a feminine aspect to their personality, and the most feminine of women have a masculine aspect to their personality.
So long as you
It's
have
just
the makings,
natural because androgyny is basically the
wielder you shall one day be.
it's the basic form of all like human psyches, and you
No
stray
ocean
from that
will
to
take
a greater or lesser extent.
No more borders around.
Yeah, Darsko. She played 358 over 2 days, but I don't think they ever say Shion's name out loud there. Which is how we got to Zion, which is probably how it should be pronounced.
And no, it's a little bit difficult because the letter X has no formalized pronunciation in the English language.
Magic will wear off.
I remember when I was very young and we still had the alphabet up on the wall. It was either xylophone with the X, or more often in my experience, fox was the example word for X, because there's so few words beginning with X in English that there's no
Gotta keep it a secret.
formalized way to pronounce it at all in the English
I'm glad you
language.
said the alphabet up on your wall, because I thought you were going to finish that sentence with "when I was young and we still had the alphabet," as opposed to the indistinct letterless screen noises we all use to communicate now.
So I still have things that I have to protect.
See, this is part of the problem I have with Shion is a completely logical pronunciation when you take into consideration the transliteration into the Latin alphabet, or at least into the English use of the Latin alphabet of languages like Chinese and Japanese. It's completely legitimate, but that's not a very useful description of how to pronounce these words for English speakers, because, to be brutally honest, half of the letters these transliterations use are completely useless. The Latin alphabet is total bollocks.
Got the thematically appropriate ice cream, I see, Axelate.
I approve, Axelate. I approve. That stuff must melt super fast, though.
I think it's basically vanilla ice cream, just with a sea-soaked flavour. Now, we need to go to the Mirage Arena. Yeah, you came back on discussion of Latin and Romantic alphabets. Enjoy. We need to go to the Mirage Arena, because we need to... if we want to unlock, like, the fucking ending of this game, once we've played through all 3 storylines, we need to defeat a specific enemy in this Mirage Arena.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I actually saw a picture of Nomura the other day and I was surprised because I was genuinely just expecting Peter Molyneux in a black wig.
Oh hey, we can customise our armour here, only for use within the Mirage Arena.
Anyway, the point I was trying to make is the Latin alphabet, because it's used by so many different European languages, it's functionally useless. The way we use it in English is different from the way they use it in French, and the way they use it in French is different from the way they use it in Germanic languages, and the way they use it in Scandinavian languages. I mean, there are letters in Danish that we just don't have in English. And there are letters English used to have that we don't have anymore, and, say, for example, Danish and French don't have. Like the letter thorn. That is garish as fuck. Change it. Make it blue. Make it blue.
Fine, I'll go back and I'll change it to...
I am merry-weathering this shit up. Make it blue.
I don't think I actually can change it anymore. We're stuck with this forever.
No! You know, actually this is reminding me, I wish I brought up on Glenn's stream, that's Raincoat Videos, I suggest you check him out. Eternal Darkness, because I feel like that would have been a really good thing to discuss at the time. And this is oddly reminding me of it. Possibly because you look about as red as the lobster guy from Eternal.
I would say I'm a delightful pink. I am fuchsia.
Oh, they have the I actually don't know what to call it. Like the O with the line through it. And there's like an A and an E with a circle atop it as an accent in Danish and other Scandinavian languages. Yeah, it's isn't it? That's how you pronounce it. Oh! Oh, okay, AE, that's the letter Ash. Yeah, I know how to describe that. I'm thinking of Swedish. I'm thinking of a video I saw ages ago about Swedish letters. But yeah, when A and E connected like that, that's called the letter Ash in English. Because that's what we used to call... all of the letters had special names from back when we used Futhork. But when we changed the Latin alphabet, it just all went to crap, I swear.
He does. He has a fine ass. He's done well there. Character. Yeah, he is the booty character of this game. Aqua is attempting to kind of take his crown, but she'll never succeed.
Aqua has her own charms.
Aqua's charm is being halfway competent, which is more than can be said for Terra.
You know, now I kind of imagine her in some kind of crack video game team with Vivian from Dragon Age Inquisition. And maybe Glory from Fallout 4. There's just something about those three. They're just so good. So pure, so perfect. What we all aspire to be. Oh, these things are cute! They kind of remind me of the rabbits from Super Mario Galaxy. But, you know, fake heartlessy. You know, the thing is about asses is that, depending on the build of the woman in question, a small ass can be more attractive than a big ass. And a big ass more attractive than a small ass. I mean, you wouldn't want a small ass on a woman with, say, big thighs and hips, because she's going to look out of proportion, but a big ass on somebody with small thighs and hips is going to look really weird, so... It's about taking the body as a whole and judging it on that standard, really. Things being in proportion are more important than any particular aspect being extreme.
Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Come for the Disney Worlds, stay for the science of asses.
I don't understand why we care so much about what men's asses look like, though.
No, we never.
Well, you want your ass to be proportional to your hips. Really. Because otherwise it's going to look a bit weird.
Gotcha.
Say someone like Nicki Minaj who has, like, a really good figure. She's just got an amazing figure. She's got very broad hips, but she also has quite a large ass. So she looks in proportion. But if you had somebody with quite slim hips, like a a Kylie Minogue, for example, an ass the size of Nicki Minaj's would look wrong. But Kylie Minogue's ass it's fairly small, but it fits her figure, and that's the important thing. It fits her hips and she looks good. But yeah, hips are more important on women because the basic idea is that you want somebody who can, you know, bear children. Because biologically speaking, that's what women are for.
Oh, I should have equipped Ends of the Earth before I came here, because it's a better Keyblade.
Tisk, 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 tisk. Actually, broad hips on a man aren't a problem. They're quite attractive in their own way. Think about that hourglass figure is quite attractive on everybody, but I suppose you want it to be more extreme on a woman than a man, because men tend to have less extreme figures in general. You know? There seems to be less body shape variation in men than women, but I suppose it's just because there's less change. I'm just rambling now. Somebody get me off this discussion of body shapes.
Unfortunately, all we're really doing right now is doing arena matches to try and get to like the specific one we need to get this Xehanort report.
You know what? Now I feel compelled to talk about which Disney princess probably has the best ass. My money is probably on Cinderella. But I reckon that Aurora has an ass that looks good for her shape. Like, she looks good, but in terms of the ass on its own, Cinderella looks better. Meg's very tall and thin. She's very stylized, and that's a good look. I suppose if you think about it, the different Disney princesses have different body shapes. Insofar as, I mean, they do tend to look quite similar because, let's be honest, we have a very narrow view of what is attractive for women. But within that scope, they all have fairly different shapes, actually. I mean, Aurora is quite long, but then again, Meg is even longer and thinner. And then you've got Cinderella, who's more of an hourglass. Snow White is probably one of the youngest of the Disney princesses, so she looks quite, well, her figure reflects that. But somebody like Rapunzel, who's about 18, I think, she's got quite a boyish figure. Whereas Anna and Elsa, they're more adult, but not as hourglass as Cinderella is. And then you've got Tiana's probably quite hourglass too, probably more so than Anna and Elsa. Then you've got Pocahontas, who... See, Pocahontas falls into the same trap as Moana in the fact that they're not really princesses at all, are they? Chieftains don't fill the same role as kings. You know, you can... Not you, but Disney, you can appreciate, like, the aesthetics of a woman's body without sexualizing it. Because I don't understand those people who find Disney princesses sexy, because they're really not. Yeah, Kyrie looks fine. It's a bit up and down for my taste, but you know, she's pretty, she has a nice build, she's fine. She's perfectly aesthetically appealing.
I'm gonna, yeah.
This is gonna sound a bit weird, but I actually kind of like the way she has like this like lacy edged camisole thing on underneath her what appears to be leather pink mini dress. I mean, it's not practical for fighting at all, but damn, it looks good. Girl's got style.
Please try to forget how this boss kicked my ass the first time.
Oh god. I feel kind of embarrassed now, considering how much I've talked about the build of Disney princesses. I'm 27.
I'm 26. Yes, because I'm a year younger than you in this portion of the year. Soon to be 2 years younger than you once November hits.
Yeah, I delayed going to university for a year. Probably my mental health caused that, but I wasn't officially diagnosed until university. Wait, you're 30?!
Oh, cool.
Wow! I was not expecting. I always thought you were younger than us. I'm not sure why. 21 is a fine age. Become a teacher and you'll be 21 forever. Well, if you're a woman. If you're a man, you'll be like, at worst, 50 forever. That is so strange. I don't know why I thought you were young. I think it's Tumblr. Tumblr makes everyone seem younger than they are. That's kind of cool, though.
Meanwhile, I'm achieving my most august revenge against this boss.
Wait, is that that spinner thing you fought in Aurora's?
Yeah,
Spinning wheel?
It beat me like 5 times.
No, Jenny! Why are you beating up Jenny? Spinning Jenny, it's a spinning wheel.
Yeah. That's what a good man.
So, depending on where you're from, Darskull, like, don't worry, I'm drinking legally. I've drunk legally for the last 9 years.
Aha, here's the one we need to do. Sinister Sentinel. But will we succeed? Ooh, tension.
I've actually got to be honest, Chloe, knowing that you're older than me makes me feel better because I feel like... Because part of me is worrying that I'm leading you down, like, a corrupt path.
No, I don't think either of us watch Coronation Street, do we? I watched it briefly when Ian McKellen was in it, which was...
I haven't watched it since I stopped repeatedly watching... I stopped habitually watching television with my family, so it's been quite a while for me.
But no,
also,
I don't watch any soaps.
thank you for revealing yourself as British, or potentially Irish. I don't know, do they get curry in Ireland?
Do they? I don't know if they get curry in Ireland.
The problem with the internet is it causes you to believe everyone's American. Like, that's like your first instinct is to assume everyone's American. Oh, you are American! Oh, wow!
Oh, wow! I've never met an American who'd even heard of curry before.
I'm actually surprised. I'm really pleasantly surprised because you clearly know it well enough to call it curry. I know this is going to sound kind of condescending, but I don't mean it that way. Well done! Congratulations! When it comes to understanding British people, you've actually gone a really long way into understanding us on a fundamental cultural level. Well, you know what they say about British girls. Did they say anything about British girls?
I'm not aware of it if they do.
I'm British, and I'm a girl, so, well, I'm 27, whatever.
You know what they say about British girls? They're British.
Oh, British! They're not so bad once you get past your stereotypes, really. And the swearing, so much swearing. You know, you really sold yourself to me, Darskull. Oh my god, that reminds me. I've got this friend who's American, and the first time I said I was shattered to her, she was really concerned. And the first time I called her love, she was like, "Oh, you called me love," and I'm like, "Oh god, it's not what you think." I mean, I am being affectionate, but not to the level you think I am. And what was the other one? There was another thing where she took it really seriously when I didn't mean. Well, when I said I'm fine, and she was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I've got to be honest. When it comes to Americans misunderstanding British slang and colloquialisms, you guys are adorable. You're so sweet when you don't understand us. You gotta Americans when it comes to Americans interacting with British slang and colloquialisms for the first time, you come across as so earnest and extreme. I just want to cuddle you all. I've run out of whiskey now.
Wait, but nobody said darkness for ages. And
I've been drinking it because I like this whiskey.
Bro, that's not the drinking game.
Sorry. I need to go get some more.
No, you go do that.
Can I mute my mic without hanging up?
Yes. If you go to party settings, you can lower your mic volume to 0. Just make sure
I'll do that
that's a maximum afterwards.
Excellent. I have actually quite a lot of things I'd like to say about the way Americans interact with British people. It's not bad, don't worry about it. I promise.
We look forward to hearing your views. With capital V.
It's the Americans are cute thing, not the Americans are awful thing, which I have some of, but I'm not inclined to actually say because I'm in a good mood. Anyway, I'll be back in a moment, so I'll see you all then.
Yeah. We'll keep beating up Unversed. It's interesting, I used to be able to drink loads when I was a youthster, as is the technical term. And now, my alcohol tolerance hasn't changed, but I just don't enjoy it much. When I was a tiny burn child, I used to really like drinking, and now it's just... unless I'm very stressed or doing a drinking game like this time, I could take it or leave it. Speaking of Americans and burgers, the Five Guys opened near me recently. It's so good. It's so expensive, but it's so good. Yeah, I went there and I was expecting the burger to be shitty Burger King stuff, and it wasn't. It was lovely. Well, that day humanity received a grim reminder that Five Guys burgers are really good. I think they've only just started opening branches in the UK. There's another Unversed here somewhere, I can't see it. Here it is. But because the one near me only opened 6 months ago? 6 months ago. Fuck you. Damn it. I need to beat this guy. Okay, it's time to...
I'm back.
Hey, we lost against that dude, but we need to beat him. So...
Right, what was I going to say about Americans? Oh, right, they're adorable. But yeah, look, the thing that makes Americans adorable is the whole Britain and America, especially England and America, are two countries divided by a common language. So there are things about, like, things in UK English that you're just not used to in American English.
Gotcha.
And when you come across them, it's adorable watching you react. Or incredibly annoying, as I've learnt to my chagrin. But no, the Americans can be really cute. To be fair, burgers are really nice.
Burgers are really nice.
I mean, it's the thing about Americanized fast food is that, well, sometimes it's just what you want. You know? Like, I could go for I go to the burger company again, like an Aberdeen Angus, thick, juicy burger, but sometimes all I want is just like a McDonald's burger because it's nice in its own way, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're so cute!
It shows up the drinking game and your it shows up the drinking game and your extracurricular drinking activities outside the hallowed institution of the Kingdom Hearts drinking game is getting to you.
I'm a flirty drunk, I can't help it. Although, actually, now I think about it, as cute as I find Americans most of the time, when I play things like not Kingdom Hearts, Fallout 3 and 4, and they have this American Revolution stuff in it, I'm a bit, really? Really? What's his name? Gwyneth Button? Just want to punch you in the face for being so mean. You're a robot. Hand over the Declaration of Independence to actual Americans. He doesn't care. He genuinely doesn't care. The Americans who are worth having as fans won't mind, and the Americans who do mind aren't worth having as fans. I tend to swing, to be honest, I tend to swing between Americans are intolerable and Americans are the most adorable people known to man.
I do feel like I should make a DDC style Blue Heater announcement just going, other views on Americans are available. If you've been affected by the issues in this stream, please call this action line number.
I'm so sorry! It's just, I don't know, Americans are kind of unique in the world that you're kind of trying to forge a new culture by yourselves, and like it's gone horribly wrong in some places and wonderfully right in others. And some of you are complete twats about it, and it's not helping. But when you're adorable, when you're cute, you're absolutely adorable. But when you're annoying, you're absolutely intolerable.
Yeah, Sola's at the end of the action line just being like, what up, blah? Heard you were affected by the issues in the stream. Please tell me you haven't poured yourself more whiskey, because the stream still has a while to go before you reach the end of Terra's story.
Yeah, I have actually.
Wow!
I went and got my 1824 Cardew Gold Reserve single malt Scotch whiskey. We don't. Actually, we have separate channels.
Yes, we only unite for streams. For regular Let's Plays, we do them separately. VC's channel. Feel free to put your channel in the chat, VC.
I'm not sure you can put links in chats.
Just put your name,
yeah,
they can find it.
If you click on my... well, it's my user... Okay.
Do the thing.
Okay. VC plays some games. There you go. I don't know why that's an orange. Well, that's fine by me. That's my favourite colour. It makes me feel kind of, part of me's like, but I'm not a filthy Protestant, but I'm not Dutch. Depending on what mood I'm in.
Perhaps in some ways, though, you are Dutch. But yes, I believe right now you're Let's Playing Fear and the Dark Side Detective.
Yes, I am. I need to post all of my recordings of that.
I am Let's Playing Trails of Cold Steel, which is a delightful JRPG, which is sort of like Fire Emblem and sort of like Final Fantasy and sort of like Persona.
It's really good. There's a lot to like about it.
And I'm also doing Danganronpa another episode, which is a survival horror about bears.
It is. It's a lot of fun. I do like Danganronpa a lot. What do I do? Should I try and finish Fear before I start doing the Evil Within again?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, try to do shorter things in between. I had these grand plans for my channel, but I got sick, so that sucks. But I'm better now, so I should take advantage of it. I do like the design of this stage.
It is nice. Now, let's see if this Iron Imprisoner kicks our ass again.
You know, it oddly reminds me of Gladiators.
As in the TV show, Gladiators.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Oh god. A while ago I started watching Gladiators on YouTube and I absolutely love it. Because it's my childhood distilled. Oddly, it feels strange that what I would define as my childhood in a single TV program was people being physically fit, and I'm incredibly unfit. Also, oh my god, you called me love! Oh, Darskull, you're the best. You should move here. It'd be great. You get socialised medicine and everything.
God, Terra could use some socialised medicine right now because he's fucking up.
Cider mouth full of coke. Oh yeah, Spartacus. About like the ancient Roman gladiator. And I'm talking stuff like Saracen and Wolf. I know they had American Gladiator. I think they had it first, and I think they had it longer. Not so sure though.
You know what? We are leaving this accursed place for now, and
until you get better at the game.
There's not much more story to do is the thing, but we can go do a little bit more story and then come back.
I'm actually genuinely wondering how much more entertaining I am when I'm tipsy.
think we have to go back to the land of departure.
You know, I haven't played Scrabble in years. I could really go for that.
I could not, because Scrabble is an accursed hell game.
It is, and yeah, I still enjoy it. I really like
don't know
Monopoly.
the rules.
Every single box for Scrabble comes with the rules inside.
And yet, still I don't know. So whose fault is that really? It's
Yours.
Scrabble's fault. It is Scrabble's fault.
My instant reaction to anyone I like on the internet is, oh, you should move to Britain, we'll have a grand old time.
Actually, I think the game wants us to go to the Keyblade Graveyard.
Shockingly, Terra failed the Mark of Mastery exam. I'm not sure how.
It's because he didn't keep the darkness in him sufficiently in check, according to Ericus.
But this is the problem I have. Like, Aqua is clearly better because she kept it in check the entire time, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's not wrong that she'd be considered better, but the darkness came out, but he suppressed it. How is that not good enough? It's not like he used it in the fight. Someone who is tempted but resists is still...
What happened?
I'm actually quite shy in person, so you've got to be completely right there, Duskar.
I'm certain he's capable of anything. I fear the boy may attempt to...
But yeah, someone who's tempted but suppresses it, that's strength in its own way and it should be rewarded, or at least acknowledged.
You must go back and see to your friends.
Don't you think?
Yeah, no, I agree.
As someone who's never tempted, it's not the same. It's not real strength, is it? It's like the whole, you can't have courage until you know fear. Then again, my favourite superhero is Daredevil, so what can you do? And he's not really without fear, he's just, you know, not scared of heights, which is really what they mean.
I'm gonna land somewhere with
He found him. Is this quest not over?
No, apparently not. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can buy any better commands from the Mughals. Or maybe some accessories or some shit.
Have we been to Radiant Garden in this game?
We have.
Oh yeah, we have, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a week ago, when I was sober.
Make it sound like you haven't been sober since.
I don't know why I'm drinking more whiskey today than I did last week. Maybe it's because I had meat for dinner last week and I didn't this day. That might be it.
Okay, we're going to head back to the Coliseum. We're going to do this in the most scrub-lordy fashion possible.
That's a good question. How did they reshape the entire world of Hollow Bastion in Kingdom Hearts 2 on such a short amount of time? Magic. Yeah, my biggest wish from Kingdom Hearts 2 was because Kingdom Hearts 2 has Tifa in it, and for some reason at the time, and even still, I really shipped Tifa from Final Fantasy VII and Zell from Final Fantasy VIII, and I really wish they'd meet in Kingdom Hearts, because I think they get on really well. I don't know. Maybe worlds tend to change when something big happens. Haven't they lost something between here and there? Something important?
I think so.
wish the Final Fantasy characters were more heavily integrated into the plot. Well, there's a lot of potential wasted in Kingdom Hearts, but this is what happens when you have Nomura in charge of anything. Some people hate Peter Molyneux. Me? I don't care, but Nomura is my Peter Molyneux. God, he's terrible at his job. Except monster designing, he is really good at that. Really good at it. Like, he is the Mozart of monster design. I regret that he's been given any other role. We're back here because Doug hates himself on a very fundamental level.
We're back here because we need to beat that. We need to beat this stage of Mirage Arena to get a Xehanort report, which we need to get the ending of this of the story, like the story as a whole, not Terra's story. Honestly,
you can substitute vodka for whiskey if you need to.
Honestly, if we fail this time, what I'll probably do is just leave it and come back and do it after we've done Terra's story. Which means I have to replay the end of his story again, but that's fine. That's a small price to pay. Words.
A small price to pay. And yet I'm the one who's drunk more alcohol. You know, as a side note, Brexit was a complete mistake.
Just like, in unrelated news to you beating up these Unversed, how about Brexit, huh?
Well, yeah, because we've got a Dane here, don't we? Well, we're both Remainers, though, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
I think, like, to be brutally honest, I'm more illiberal than you are, but... like, in general terms. But... I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm slightly older. What are you watting at me mentioning Brexit, or... Whiskey is really hard to like, to be fair, Darskull. It's really hard to like. You know what they say about acquired taste, they're usually not worth acquiring, but I don't know, once I got used to it, I really liked it. I don't know, I just really like Europe as a concept and as a people. And the ability to go anywhere I want in Europe without... What? Wait, what? You're Danish, aren't you? That was the impression I got. Have I just gotten so tipsy I've completely, like, failed to understand reality at this point? Yes, yeah. I have gotten that tipsy. I'm terribly sorry. I think my problem is that I tend to sound more sober than I am.
Oh shit, I used that high potion, I shouldn't have.
I look forward to the day where borders are pointless, but that's not any time within our lifetimes. If I do have a politics degree, how could you tell? Oh, I wish I wasn't... the thing is, I need to be drunk the entire time, otherwise I get to be quite shy. That's my problem. So what you should have done at university, Doug, you should have got me completely plastered and then taken me.
In fairness, I didn't go to that many parties at uni.
And yet, somehow, you were the social butterfly between the two of us.
Yeah, but I was doing a course that involved a lot of working groups with people.
I didn't, that was my problem. I mean, I regret nothing, but there's a little part of me that's like, maybe I should have done drama.
Drama was
But
a
then
good
again, I
degree.
might have gone to Coventry if I did. I'm not sure drama and politics were compatible.
It seems
politics
like
and
the
creative
universe.
writing weren't. Actually, drama and politics may have been compatible.
What new channel is this, Chloe?
News channel. To be honest, when I want news, I just go to the BBC.
Yeah,
They're largely trustworthy. I say largely because, for whatever reason, they seem to hate Corbyn. Mostly fact awful. The BBC that I grew up with is... it's neutral to a fault, but recently it just seems to be taking sides more, and I don't like that. Oh! It's got an email saying that you subscribed to me, Darskull. Thank you! That's very sweet of you. I'll make sure there's a new video up tomorrow, because I have them recorded, I just need to edit them. I used to do more Fear, because I actually do really enjoy that game.
That does seem like a fun game for fun people.
It's really fun. I wish I had my old, when I was really into it, skills back, because I was actually decent enough that I didn't need to rely on my, Yes, he was on EastEnders. Oh, was he on EastEnders for a while? When was that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Yeah, Fear is good. I recommend Fear. I'm actually planning to do a play with Raincoat videos. Check him out. Once I Fear 2 Project Origin. I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up. If I can remember how to type. I'm one of those people that I might sound okay, but my motor functions go quite fast. To be honest, this soothing music from the PS4 home screen is probably not helping. Oh my god! Oh, Ian McKellen wants his character. Well, in 2010, there's an article saying that Ian McKellen wants his character from Coronation Street to show up on EastEnders, and that's. No, I'm planning to do a Let's Play with Raincoat videos. I think if I told Raincoat that I'd be willing to do him, he'd be quite happy. To be honest. We're good
I'm
friends.
interested in that too. Let's see.
Fear 3 is a co-op game.
This is the ultimate showdown of the shit.
To be honest, I'm only half aware of what I'm really saying. So. Actually, believe it or not, I actually know Raincoat. I've known Raincoat longer than I've known Doug. So you want to get my entire friendship circle? Yeah, not far if you subscribe to him too. Let's put it that way. I like you, Darskull. You're a lot of fun. No. Raincoat's named after the Raincoat Killer from Deadly Premonition, which is one of my favourite games of all time. I really enjoy that game. Like, Doug can attest to that. My stream's slightly behind. Raincoat's, he's another YouTuber, he's a good friend of mine. He's named himself after the Raincoat Killer, who's a character in Deadly Premonition. Who we'd stream or let's play at some point, but the jokes, man, the jokes. I'm pretty sure I can't put links in the chat. Part of me thinks if I actually watch this stream, I'm going to be so embarrassed. Why did we start the Kingdom Hearts drinking game again?
That's a question I'm asking myself as well.
You don't like it when I'm drunk, do you?
I'm okay when you're this kind of drunk. This kind of drunk is fine.
Yeah, this kind of drunk is fun. Basically, whatever mood I'm in when I start drinking is the mood I end up with magnified. Oh, you'll like Glenn. Glenn's great. Actually, out of the three of us, he's the one with... Did you get 100 subscribers?
I got 100 subscribers ages ago. I told you. At the time. Son.
Well, you know what they say. Persians used to make decisions. They made a decision once when they were drunk and once when they were sober. And if it matched up, then they'd go ahead with it. So, basically what I'm saying is, you shouldn't have encouraged me to drink whiskey. This is your fault. Oh, it's just Raincoat videos. Hang on, I'll type it into the chat. Even if it takes me ages, because my motor functions are the first thing to go. Raincoat videos. He's a good friend of mine, really good. We've known each other since we were in GCSE, so 16, 15 kind of time.
Okay, we are officially out of high potions.
Well done.
I mean, that's not good.
No problem, Dostal. I feel like in university a good reason to be like, I'm not sure you being drunk is a good idea. But if you had known how my drunkenness works, you'd be like, oh, you're in a good mood. Drink heavily. And I will introduce you to people. Yes! Yes! Spooky's House of Jump Scares is his biggest series, so that's the right guy. Oh, he's great. He's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, Raincoat's a great guy.
Yeah, super great.
Wait, no, no, I'm not alive. Thor was alive. Wasn't alive.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine with nicknames and terms of endearment. I think it's cute. When I was younger, I didn't. When I was a teenager, I hate being called Bab, but I grew out of it. I don't know why I had such a problem with it. Well, because it sounded a bit like Bap, which makes me sound like a bread roll.
Regrettably, my all-purpose nickname for everyone is Son, which just, or occasionally my child, which just makes me sound like a priest.
You know, if only there was a religion that deserved you. You'd make a fantastic priest. I feel like, I don't know about you, I feel oddly Catholic you know?
Oh, I woke up today and had a dizzy feeling. I think it's Catholicism.
If somebody came up to me and said you have to identify as a religion, you can't just go, I'm an atheist and that will end it. I'd go, I'm Catholic.
What? Master! Have you gone mad?
But Catholicism is one of those weird religions where whatever your mother is technically what you are. So I suppose I technically count, because my mum's a lapsed Catholic. Oh yeah, Doug's never gonna have an actual son. Not on purpose, anyway.
No, not keen on children.
I mean, that's understandable. I mean, they don't know. They haven't learned how to be decent human beings yet. Nice tear, by the way. You know, I'm a 27-year-old woman, and yet when he says my son, I still react. There's something about our boy Doug, you know?
To be fair, I've said my son to 50-year-old men before who are old enough to be my father, and, like, they accept it without even a hint of argument.
Yeah, Doug wouldn't accept any actual biological son of his until they were about 11. Because that's the point where they learn to be a human being. Children are awful because children don't know what they're doing.
See, I'd be fine with someone else's kids, like, when I could just leave them for the day. But you can't do that with your own kids because then the NSPCC comes around and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm really looking forward to when my sister has children. It's going to be amazing. Time. The thing about nephews and nieces is that they're the best, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're all the joy of having a child, but none of the responsibility.
Erica, I beg of you, will you chill for one moment?
Doug wouldn't run away to Sweden. He can't speak Swedish. He'd probably go to Australia and then never leave his room because he fears sunburn because the sun is a deadly laser. I know children can be fantastic. I love children. It's just they don't really know what they're doing yet, so they can tend to be quite horrible. You know? You gotta learn to be human. The hard part. Oh. Wait, didn't you say you're 21? I'm sure your sister knows what she's doing. It's not my place to judge.
Yay, we beat up Ericus.
Yay! Woo. Babies are just... they're simultaneously the best and the worst.
I just wanted to keep
it's because they have all the innocence of,
No.
well, they're innocent. They're purely innocent.
I failed you, Terra. Perhaps I've no one to blame but myself for the darkness inside.
The one with being 19 and as a mother is that you often don't have the stability you need. But the people who can do it, I have nothing but respect for.
My own heart is darkness.
I'm jealous, to be honest. So jealous. Ah, life is hard, man. Just in general.
Well, Terra fucked something up. Take a sip.
Oh god. Like that's like I'm not doing it anyway.
Master Ericus.
To be honest, I just forgot everything I just said.
What a shock.
So, just ignore me in case I said anything mean, because I didn't mean to. I genuinely have a lot of respect for young parents. I just wish the world made it more possible for people, that's all. Oh, that's good. That's really good.
What do you mean?
I feel like your family's situation has become a lot of the stream, and I feel really sorry for you. But genuinely, I have a lot of respect for your sister and your... I said it was a nephew, didn't we?
Yeah.
Your nephew's father. Because it doesn't matter whether they're together, it just matters that they're both united in the goal of raising a child. Because a child's always better with more than one parent. Because it's a big responsibility, and 2 or more is what you want, right?
I mean, obviously the ideal parenting situation is 7 dogs and no humans. But for many people that just isn't possible because, I mean, 7 dogs, they need a lot of space, and like, often the government has views on like letting dogs raise human children. They're not keen on it, but they should be, because that is the ideal situation when all is said and done.
I'm glad your family is in on it. Raising a child is a community effort, really. I feel like a lot of people just tend to think that it's just 2 people who raise a child, but it's not really when you get down to it. I wish the plot would kick in, otherwise I'd have other things to say.
The plot has kicked in!
I just haven't paid attention because that's how non-engaging Kingdom Hearts is to me.
Okay, to summarise, Zona was like, oh, Venus has gone to see Ericus. So we went to go catch him, and Ericus was trying to kill Ventus. So we beat up Ericus, and then Xehanort killed him, and now he's destroyed the Land of Departure.
Naughty.
It is naughty.
We need to turn to lighter topics, so I think my last, the last thing I say on the subject will be, you're a good, aunt or uncle. I haven't really established which you are, but either way, you're good. And that's the important thing.
Luckily, lighter topics are here to stay, because we've now hit like the plot-heavy ending of Terra's story, which I will have to play again at some point to get that to
Anybody watching this after the fact is going to be so confused.
No, I think people watching after the fact can see the chat and like the sidebar thing.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to understand exactly how tipsy I am.
Oh no, I think they will. I think they will understand.
I'm going to be so embarrassed at some point in the future, but right now I'm just really enjoying myself. Oh, you're a guide? That's... well, it's neutral, to be honest.
The Keyblade Graveyard. An important place in aforementioned Kingdom Hearts Chi.
I had a feeling you were a guy, to be honest, but I didn't want to assume. Because that would be rude. I like you, Dusker. I like you a lot.
High five, bro. Not you, Dusker, bro.
I'm flexing too.
High five, both of you.
Woo!
Sun's out, guns out.
Call the vet, because these snakes are sick. I used to have a bed on stilts, so I climbed a ladder every day for about 5 years, so despite the fact that I'm not as physically strong as I once was, I've actually still got surprisingly good biceps. You know, I gotta be honest with you, Darkskull, I'm trying my hardest not to flirt. That's hard for me, as Doug can attest.
Yeah, don't do that. The rest of us on this stream will be like, wow, as mega orcs.
It is I really am a natural flirt, and to be honest, I'm not even sure I'm doing it half the time. It's just, I don't know, it's just people, they're so great. I mean, why wouldn't you want to flirt?
It may help if instead of flirting you think about some cool dogs.
Dogs are great. You know what I really like? I really like those horse dogs that Tumblr are into because they're the best.
Boys always.
Yes. Apart from Fights, Fights is the best, obviously.
Her heart is full of limbs.
It is. Just checking Tumblr quickly to make sure nothing interesting happens whilst we've been gone.
Oh no, while we're streaming, North Korea launched thousands of nuclear missiles. We're going to end our lives watching Terra fuck things up with Leonard.
We got me a cool picture of Nick Valentine.
No, Darsko, she does not.
Does what? What?
Darsko asked if you get gropey when you're drunk. But you don't.
No, I don't. I don't. All my flirting is verbal. Because, I don't know, groping people seems rude.
Yeah, you do get quite huggy, but you always ask for hugs first.
Well, permission is important. I don't want to assume on anything because that would be rude. I feel like, despite my best efforts, I am actually flirting with Darkskull.
I think you're okay for now. Up these unversed tornadoes padding out the game.
I'm so sorry. I should not have drunk this much. In about 3 hours, I'll be so embarrassed. I can promise you that.
Don't worry, you're not that bad.
But yeah, I just saw my tab on Ian McKellen wanting that crossover from Corrie to EastEnders, and I'm like, yeah, man, Ian McKellen's the best. What are Unversed?
Unversed, you know how a boy in a mask was mentioned, and we saw him earlier and he had sick abs?
Did we? Or was I paying too much attention to the chat?
No, we saw him near the very beginning. You commented on him being like Varn because, like, on his outfit, his sick abs are outlined.
Oh yes, I did. I remember that now.
Yeah, they're created from him. Basically, like, his emotions manifest as unversed.
So what are they unversed in? Because inversed implies that there is a versed, and what is the first versed in?
Yeah, like Darsko says, you're fine. You're still holding like a pretty coherent conversation.
That's what I do.
That is indeed how I raised my son.
All I have is my verbal ability. And
my son, who is older than me, and the woman.
I am older than him.
But nevertheless, my son.
I don't know, the fact that I can hold a conversation adequately when I'm drunk is, I feel, one of the better aspects of my character. The fact that I can entertain when I'm still not, like... I don't do stupid things, I just tend to talk a lot, that's all.
Yeah, it's not like you haven't gone into a fight with a wall, or anything like that. Whatever wall happens to be near you, child.
Well, I'm looking at a wall right now, but it's pretty dull.
Is the wall being aggressive at all? Because if so, that's an excuse to tell it to fucking square up.
I don't think that's right. I mean, it's got a radiator on it, and radiators give you. I mean, I can see where you're coming from with the condescending nickname thing, but I'm not sure I entirely agree.
It's true though that I would never call someone Kit. Right? I'm constantly referring to people as son or child. That
I don't.
In the same way that a vicar does.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like you don't refer to people as kid because you're British, and kid feels like more of an American word. When you refer to my son or my child, it feels like you're taking responsibility for them because you're very responsible. You want to take responsibility for people.
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure how this started, but personally I blame my biology teacher in year 9, who did actually kind of look like Ian McKellen.
Like this? I know why I'm talking like this, but I'm really not clear on why you're talking like this.
Why I'm talking like what?
Like, in this entire conversation, why? I feel like you're letting me lead this conversation, which really is wrong.
I'm quite distracted by beating up these giant boots.
I like enemies that wander around in big boots, like they're hopping along in one big shoe, because it reminds me of there was an old woman who lived in a shoe. I know. He is. That's why he roped me into making sure he didn't embarrass himself in front of a bunch of 19-year-olds.
Yeah, in fairness, that 50-year-old man could probably have done with someone taking responsibility for him. Oh, Laurie.
I liked Laurie. Laurie was fun.
I mean, I like Laurie. That's why I gave him the affectionate nickname. I'm
gonna hate this when I'm sober, I'm sure.
For context, Laurie, the 50-year-old man in question, another old friend, he was one of my course mates at university, a mature student.
A mature student, yeah.
Yeah. Very much the hard rocker type. Or ex-hard rocker. I'm not sure how much hard rocking he still did.
I'd share what you said about him, but I don't feel comfortable doing so.
Yeah.
He has a past, let's put it like that.
Yeah. Like, everyone theoretically has a past, apart from time travelers who obviously have to sacrifice their pasts as the payment for passage through time. But he had a past with a capital P.
A rough life.
He was very nice, though.
Lovely guy, lovely.
He's a very pleasant person.
Fetishize his Irish ancestry.
Yes, that wasn't so great.
Because we're English, that's anathema to us. Because we also have Irish ancestry.
Meanwhile, I have an itchy ear that I can't scratch it because I have to escape from these tornadoes.
I'd offer to take the controller, but we're
yeah, we're separated by 100 miles.
What is the distance between where we are? Let me check. Share where I'm from really easily because I'm very proud, whereas I feel like Doug's not so much.
I'm proud of being from the fens originally,
but not the same way I am from being from where I'm from.
I mean, I'm plenty proud of it, you know, being a cool swamp.
Apparently it's 49 minutes going 42.7 miles per hour.
I see. Yeah, Darsko is right. Flirty is more like putting on a Fiona Bruce voice and being like, I'm sure you are a big,
hello.
strong man.
Oh no, we're 43 miles apart, apparently.
Oh, right, shit. Like, that can be walked, probably, over the course of several days.
This route on Google Maps involves going to Coventry, though.
Oh, shit. If we went to Coventry, we would die.
I have no idea what you're like, Darskull, at all.
You know what? You're a chill guy.
There is a part of me that's desperately like, I want to flirt with this person, but I know nothing about them, so I'm just going to be nice, which is also flirty, because, I don't know, I just like flirting with people, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, hey, Aquita.
Nice. I have no idea how strong you are, to be honest. Do you lift weights? Do you pick up boxes? Aqua is so cool.
Aqua is cool. She is a cool
She's
guy.
the coolest one of these three.
Master was struck down.
I remember we went to a write-over for NaNoWriMo last year. Do you remember this, Doug?
I mean, yes, it was. Actually, yeah, I do remember. I was going to say, yeah, it was only last year. It's not like I forgot that I do forget things quite quickly. So.
Well, it's whether or not you consider them to be important, which, you know, fair enough.
Yeah.
And there was this guy there who was like, are you flirting with me? And I suppose I was. Because I flirt with a lot of people. I suppose whether I flirt with you is more of a mark of whether I like you as a person more than whether I'm romantically interested.
Whereas I just immediately sun-zone people.
Did I still flirt with you though, Doug?
On occasion.
Yeah, I do. To be honest, I can't say me flirting with you is not a flirt, but it's also not necessarily a flirt, if that makes sense. I don't know. Flattery is... I like flattering people because most people deserve it.
Speaking of flirting, God, Tara is pretty.
She is so pretty. Also, wow! Lifting weights, that's pretty cool. I mean, I gotta be honest, I like guys to be strong. Physically strong. The ability to lift heavy things is impressive to me. I'm not gonna lie.
And he tried to destroy me for it. Keyblade? I still don't know exactly.
It is true that you have sworn not to marry anyone except the man who can lift an entire husky.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's the Kaguya Hime Sisyphean trial you have imposed upon all suitors. To lift an entire husky with one arm.
I'm not entirely... Okay, it doesn't make sense that being physically strong. My brain's on the cusp of not working anymore, so someone's gonna have to talk me through this.
My suggestion is just to, like, stop drinking for the moment.
Well, I've run out of available not in bottle whiskey, so that's something. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. I like people in general. That's my problem. I think everyone's wonderful in their own way. Especially when I'm drunk.
What I'm getting from this is that we should conduct the entire rest of the stream in Fiona Bruce voices. Don't be scared by the rocks that I've got. I'm just Jenny from the docks. More on that story later.
More on that story later. I miss breaking news. Breaking news was really, really good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making you on, Darskull. I feel like I lead most people on, that's my problem. People are great, just in general. I feel like I said 2 hours ago that I was a flirty drunk, so you can't say you weren't warned.
will soon belong to me.
Yeah, that is well harsh, Darsko. Ask me some, like, chill questions.
I mean, statistically speaking, Darsko's going to be more interested in me than you.
Ask me what my favourite colour is. It's blue.
Throwing of hands. Mine's orange, but then again, I've said that before.
So it's definitely blue for me. Digimon set that in Scarlet in Stone. I need to have more whiskey.
I need to have less whiskey.
I've had like... Oh god, I've had like a third of a bottle of whiskey.
I finished off the bottle, but then again it was quite low before it started. To be fair.
Now we get to
That
the...
sounds so vain, like it's a privilege to speak to me. I don't know, you seem like a really nice person, Darsko. A really nice person. I feel like we can be friends, all three of us. Friends.
Oh shit, my favourite number.
Friendship.
It's got to be 19, to be honest. 19
yeah, but whenever
is just...
when somebody says 19, I think of that song 19, which is about the average age of Vietnam War soldiers.
See, I think of the Dark Tower.
No, I think of that song about Vietnam. I mean, I'm British, so Vietnam isn't as big of a cultural event to me. But I feel like I understand it because all of the feelings I have about World War I are transposed onto it. I heard that song a lot because my parents were really into dance music.
19 is a solid number though. 19 is a number that would, you know, take care of you.
The average age of a soldier in World War II was 26. In Vietnam, it was 19.
It's not like 17 or 18 who are sly fucks. They would take your money and kill you.
I think a lot about World War One, and that feels really strange to do so. World War Two was objectively worse, and yet World War One is the one that hits me the hardest. But you don't know that song. I mean, fair enough. It's probably not that good, really, but I was very young when I heard it for the first time. I remember hearing it on the journey to Westward Ho, which is one of the few place names in Britain to have an exclamation mark. And I want to write it down so you can see it. Like, this is literally how it's spelt.
Over the unseen wall that divides darkness and light.
It's from a book.
I was not wrong.
I remember that song, and it hit me really hard.
My friend.
That these people were so young. And then when I learned about World War One, it hit me the same way, and I just feel so sorry for them. They went through a lot. And because Vietnam was a war that the US technically lost, they didn't really get the respect they deserved, you know?
Well,
you said like this, westward! Ho! As in, you're pointing towards that direction. I think it's a story about smugglers.
Alright, time to fight Xehanort and Vanitas.
I know, it's a joke.
Vanitas, aka the boy with sick abs.
Everyone has sick abs in this game, mostly because they paint them on.
Oh no, Ventus probably doesn't have sick... Actually no, we've seen Ventus shirtless, he doesn't have sick abs at all.
It's probably because he's too young.
He's the same age as Vanitas, he has no excuse.
Okay, you say it Vanitas, I say it Vanitas.
I say it Vanitas because I can hear how characters in the game are pronouncing it.
Ah, I don't know, Vanitas sounds right because it sounds like Venator, which means hunter.
Did you just message me on Skype saying hey?
Oh sorry, I thought I was messaging somebody else. my American friends who thought love was like really meaningful, where I'm like, it's British and it's not. Oh no, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. My feelings about World War I and Vietnam are very personal to me, because when I was in year 8, which is about 13, 14 years old, we went on a school trip to Belgium, and we went to a German war cemetery called Langemarke, and it had a lot of, I think it was 20,000 men in a space smaller than my living room, and that affects me a lot. There was a statue of 4 people, and it looked like there were actually people there, and the sun was behind them when we went there, and it affected me a lot. I feel like remembering World War I for me is really important, because I was there where the battles took place, and there was a World War I shell, and a farmer had found it and put it on the side of one of the many ditches just lying along Belgian roads, and it could have gone off, but it didn't. And I feel like not enough people care about World War I, and I feel the cultural equivalent of World War I for America as well is the Vietnam War, and it's a mess of emotional feelings about young men going to die. That's all. I take things very seriously when I shouldn't, really.
To think of a dissonance of like you talking about the emotional effect of World War I, and meanwhile I'm hitting an old man with a giant key.
War is hard. It's difficult because it's a lot of young people, especially men, because when it comes to war, you need the ability to make new soldiers, and you need women at home to do that, because that's 9 months that a woman can't do much else. So it's young men who die a lot, and that's very sad. And I think people forget that the necessity of sexual dimorphism really dictates what people can do in the face of war. And I saw a mass grave for a lot of people when I was 13 years old or 14 years old, and it made me very sad that the Allied powers had these huge white walls with all the names written out on them, but the Axis, the German soldiers, they were just written on the inside of a room, just a room carved into wood. It was so small, the space these people were buried in, and there was this grave and it had so many people in it, and the youngest of them was 14 years old, a child soldier. Younger than I, fairly older than I was. Sorry, I'm getting depressing.
Yeah, focus on us hitting Day not with a giant key.
I feel like that trip to Belgium really affected me in a very deep way. But hitting Glenn and Nimoy with a giant key is hilarious.
Take that, Leonard, Nimoy.
Oh, there, you see?
I think I really like the Fallout series, but I get a little bit annoyed when every game begins with an American man saying war never changes, when it objectively does. Because World War I was the changeover from 9 out of 10 deaths in war being soldiers to 9 out of 10 deaths in war being civilians. And it's a very stark change, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like young people, even children, seeing that kind of thing is important, otherwise they won't understand on a very visceral level what war does.
It shall be the ark that sustains
It's very easy to forget. I bet the Keyblade War was not as interesting as any actual war.
I don't know, it's mostly what Kingdom Hearts cheers about, or the build up to it. That now Terra's body has been stolen.
The change between modern warfare and pre-modern warfare is World War One. When I was doing art, we studied Guernica, which was where it's where one of the no, they do. Most Fallout games begin with some American man saying war never changes. Usually Ron Serling?
Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman saying war never changes, which isn't true. It really isn't. I feel like the idea of war never changing is a very American ideal, because total war, you have to be more heavily involved than America's been involved in World War One and Two to really understand. Total war is the idea that enemy combatants involve every single citizen of an enemy state, despite their age or gender. And America's been oddly removed from the last 2 world wars in a way that no other combatant country has been. It's unique and it's understandable, but it's still rather aggravating.
Yeah, Dasko, those Keyblades are all meant to be graves. Graves from a single battle.
That's terrible.
And, like, this entire world is full of them.
I'm really sorry, Dasko. I've gotten really dour lately. Wait, what? Why did Terra's hair change colour?
I just told you that Xehanort possessed him.
So who are we fighting as now?
Now we're fighting as Terra's armour, which has come to life to try and force Xehanort out of Terra's heart.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm sorry.
Does it though?
Part of me's like, this entire stream would have been better if I'd been sober, but there's also a part of me saying that this would have been less entertaining if I was sober. I was in year 8 when I went to Langemarker. It changes you, that's all. I remember when we went to Belgium for the school trip, we met a Dutchman. And we joked about a guy from another house, because in my school we had houses, like in Harry Potter. His name was Schneider. We did history together. And that guy joked about people being unhappy with him because of his German surname. And the guy was nice, he wasn't mean to... I don't remember what the guy's first name was called, Schneider. But, you know, these things, they run deep. And it's easy to forget that when you live thousands of miles away from where it happened. I feel like I should probably write something about my experiences at Langemarker, because it's so visceral to me, despite it not being important in the grand scheme of things, if anything. my life, it's very important. Terra's very pretty. Let's raise the tone here. Terra's very pretty.
Yeah, raising the tone. Terra is like the prettiest Kingdom Hearts character, and arguably that's a plot point, since it's probably like part of why Zaya not decided to possess him.
Oh no, it's not. It's not bad that it's adorable at all.
Yeah, being passionate about these things is good.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I would contribute more, but I'm busy trying not to get my ass handed to me by, like...
No, that's fair. I'm here for the discourse about World War One. A lot of people... A lot happened there, and World War One contributes to World War Two. So, a lot of the geopolitical struggles we go through now are directly attributable to what happened in World War One. It's important, and let us never forget that. Like, part of why playing Fallout is hard for me, because I refer to the fictional war of 2077 as the Great War, and that's, for me, as a British person, that's World War One. It will never be anything else. To call anything else the Great War is a slap in the face to my ancestors who fought in it, and who fought in World War II, and everything that happened since.
Jesus Christ. We're not just
chill. Anybody who's watching this after the fact is probably like, why is there such heavy discourse about World War One? Because it's what I really care about. World War One is the bridge I will die on. If you ever go to Langemarker, you'll understand why I feel the way I do. If you ever watch, actually, one of the things I recommend is Cry or Cryotic, his stream of Valiant Hearts. It reflects a lot of how I felt during that school trip.
Stop dodging my shot blocks, you absolute asshole.
Belgium is beautiful, but for me it's always going to be tied up in what happened during World War One, and I'm never going to be able to let that go.
Yeah, Dasko, this is a really tough DOS because it's, I mean, for story reasons, it's a Keyblade master now in the body of an extremely fit and agile young man, and clearly he has a bone to grind, an axe to grind.
I imagine it must be fairly visually confusing as well, because he's in a body you're used to playing as.
Yeah.
I might be embarrassed about a lot of what I've said during this stream, but I don't think I'll ever be embarrassed about my feelings about World War One. I feel like a lot of people forget it. I think that's why I'm so predisposed to like German people. Because there's something very important to get over there, you know? Yes,
come here for the Keyblade action, stay for the discourse on 20th century wars.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
I know it's fine. And I know it's important, and that's the most important thing. I just feel strange that something that I went through over 10 years ago is so important to me still.
Well, I mean, that's the point of the museum and the memorial, really. It's meant to leave a lasting impression. For God's sake, Xehanort, will you just stay still?
I don't know what it's like in America or anywhere else, but the problem with school trips is they're trying to keep you occupied so much that you barely have the time to really take in what the museum is trying to tell you. You know? I went to the museum at Ypres what British soldiers at the time would have called vipers, trying to do everything as quick on the activity sheet as quickly as possible, so I'd have time to take it all in. But I didn't have that time, and on one of the walls they had projected "Dulce et decorum est pro patria mori." It's sweet and beautiful to die for one's country. And it's so... I feel like I didn't really have the time to appreciate that, because school trips are all about keeping the children occupied. And I went into trenches, and it's just... Even when it comes to fictional wars, it hurts, because it was important that I understood what really happened and what people went through. I feel like I can't watch the Wonder Woman movie because it takes something so visceral to me and turns it into entertainment, which for others is fine because it will give them an understanding, but for me, no, I can't, because I understood already.
On the bright side, we've beaten Xehanort in Terra's body, so that's good. Chalk that one up for the books.
That's good. Hopefully something will happen to take me off this slightly depressing yet still oddly flirty.
Well, now Terra has a cape, so you can consider his cape. It's a nice cape. It's brown.
Wow, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like capes. I'm the opposite of Edna Mode when it comes to capes. When you say you never went through stuff like that, do you mean going to battlefields and war cemeteries? Or do you mean the experience of warfare? Because, I mean, it's fine either way because they're both visceral in their own way. I'm just wondering, that's all. I don't really know what Americans go through when it comes to history of World War I and II, but for us, for British people, there's so much more to it because it affected our homes in a way that it didn't affect Americans. I'm from Birmingham, one of the largest cities in Britain, in England specifically, and it changed so much. My aunt, my great aunt, was part of the Enigma project, and everything. We were very heavily bombed.
Aqua.
My family didn't know where my aunt was. They thought she was in the Isle of Wight.
I will set this right.
It was hard for them, but she was fine in Bletchley Park. She worked with Alan Turing. She helped the war effort in a very meaningful way.
Alright, that's the end of...
Sorry, you go ahead because it's relevant to the stream.
That's the end of Terra's storyline, which I think means it's the end of this stream, which is getting on for 4 hours now.
Sorry. I'm very proud of my great-great aunt. I'm very proud of what she did. And I'm very proud of who she was. She's a credit to the family. And that's the important thing. That we understand. And I'm sorry that I brought everything quite depressed. Because this is a problem with war. Any kind of war is that it makes me think of my experiences at school and our school trips.
Oh. Alright, having finished Terra's story, that's a good place to stop this stream. It's where I intended to stop the stream anyway. And I think if you're up for streaming earlier than usual, I'd quite like to start on Ventus' story on like Wednesday.
That's fine.
Awesome. In that case,
yes, I do have a Skype. If you want to know it, send me a private message, okay?
yes, I also have Skype.
Zigbar's somebody. I like Zigbar. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Zigbar. He has limbs. Alright, and we'll catch you all on Wednesday. I do hope everyone who is here joins us again for that. Yes, I also have a Skype. I'm sure Reese will be happy to pass on my Skype details to you if you ask. Or you can message me, and that's fine either way. I'm always up for talking to more people. And we'll catch you all on Wednesday. I'll see you then.
It's good night from him, and it's good night from me. Good night.
Working about two Ronnie's reference there. Okay, I'll see you on Wednesday. I'll see you on Wednesday if I can find where to actually stop the broadcast.